Phase 6. It's a restaurant right on is that Lexington Street, right? Like Lexington and in between St. Paul and Calvert. Lexington's turn down a little side street, and there's a restaurant right there, and it's laid out real nice. Where it's got like a place where you can actually set up a stage and everything like that. And
It says on Lexington.
yeah, I'm trying to go back to the year because actually you and Himotep was
Oh,
on the
okay.
bill that day.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, I know what you're talking
yeah,
about. Yeah, I
I
remember.
was in the audience
Yeah.
that day.
Okay.
Watching y'all speak.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking,
It's been a while. Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe at least it must have been around like 2014 or something around that time. Right?
I would say close to that time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
time.
2014, 2015.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah, definitely. Been a while. Yeah. But no, that was I enjoyed that evening too. We had a great time.
Mhm.
Yeah. A lot of people came out and it was good. Yeah. Mike check. See, you got me, brother Clarence. Yes, sir.
Did you have another copy of your book?
I have one in the trunk of the car.
You know if I check, I should have checked the back of it.
Yeah.
I get it. I was in. I know we gonna be discussing the literature. I haven't got a chance to even take a look. Live right now. I want to make sure I want to check this audio right quick.
You need me to say something?
So go ahead and talk. I mean, what I want you to do is uh I guess when you talk to him, you know, I mean, just go ahead and say, say what's up about your book.
Okay.
Whatever, you know what I'm saying? We'll bring it back in, bring it back around to the audience. But saying something about your book, I want to check this audio.
Yeah.
I want to keep talking. I want to check it.
Okay, mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
You can actually just start talking to him.
Okay.
Let me just check this now.
Well, definitely, brother Mac. Yes, sir. Thank you. First of all, definitely a pleasure meeting you, brother.
Likewise.
Yeah, and I'm glad that that you're a part of this discussion. Jabari reached out to me. I'm sure he's reached out to yourself and was interested in having a conversation around the topic of relationships, and it kind of ties into what my book is when I talk about putting your dog to sleep, euthanizing the cheating desire in men. And so one of the reasons why I wanted to write this book is because from what I'm seeing, from my experience is showing me that is that it's not a book about necessarily the black family, the black man, the black woman, the children. It is more a book about men. But one of the things I want to do in this discussion is kind of bring the conversation more, I would say, specifically as relate to as a people. So, but the book itself is about just men. Whether you're a black man, a white man, Asian man, it doesn't matter. But I'm talking about the nature of the man. And from what I've seen through my experience, through my research, and what is contributing to a lot of the problems, social problems that we're facing, as a society. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm still really taking in
Mhm.
this thing we want to have with the focus on the men and the men in general. I think it's definitely good to see understanding, just men in general. A lot of
Right.
times it's more just focused on a lot of times we focus more on black men that's understood it. But we got to see that it's something that men collectively.
Right,
You know, 'cause I know
exactly.
myself having two daughters, you know, it's like a lot of times we put more emphasis on how the women pertains to justice sooner. At the same time, like what kind of world are we bringing? I mean, we'll just take it over. Was pressing some buttons on. I might have turned something off. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2 3. Mic check 1. Mic check 1 2. Testing 1. Mic check 1. But yeah, I would like to
Yeah,
see more about the book itself.
yeah. Well, no, definitely. I guess what I should have done in the beginning, introduce myself, since we are live. Well, I I'm Dr. Max Ragland, but most of the people, I would say, here in the Baltimore area know me by Bob Ali or Brother Ali. I've been here in the Baltimore area probably since uh, 2002 when I came to Maryland, and then upon coming to Maryland, um, obviously, Baltimore being the closest city where I was living in Harford County, I came to Baltimore, and this is when during that time, 2003, 2004, I met Jabari, and so Jabari, we have a long history. When I came to Maryland, Jabari was definitely putting in the work in the community, and
All right. So let me start. So, all right, cool.
Mm.
Appreciate y'all doing that.
Mm.
So, look, family, we're gonna
Mm.
get into this. This is Reality Speaks, the real conversations. Reality Speaks, Conscious Heads, Barbershop, Natural Hair Salon. Been here for 23 years. This is what we do. Appreciate the brothers. They actually set up. We was trying to get like a little sound, little mic check going on. So they were actually starting a little bit before we actually started, the actual program for the day. But again, this is the barbershop. We want to emulate the barbershop that we have at Conscious Hedge, which is on the downstairs level. We're in the boot camp right now. Typically, we want to be cutting hair when we up here. We working towards that. We want to be cutting and just have like the same flow that we have on the barber and on the inside the shop. So that's what we're trying to do. So we're here today, and we got two good brothers. Now, brother Dr. Ragland, you know what I'm saying, who we call Brother Ali. We've been calling him that for years. He has a book out that's called Putting Your Dog to Sleep. Putting Your Dog to Sleep, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's the name of the book. Just came out, I think, at least about a month and a half ago, maybe, or a month. Oh, about 2 months ago that it just came out. So we're going to talk about this because there's a lot of stuff going on in the media today about um men, and you know what I'm saying, men, women, cheating, relationships, who's supposed to run the house, who's supposed to do this, who's supposed to do that, fat broken families in our community. And that's really like one of the issues that we really need to talk about as we move forward. So how do we heal in the community? How do we heal these situations that's been going on in our community so that we can start to thrive and start to build the way that we need to build in our community. We have with us also Brother Dern. I bring Brother Dern in, you know what I'm saying? I bring him in because he is a brother who comes to the shop. He has been a supporter of Reality Speaks, also been to several different lectures, events. Brother Dern has some very hardcore philosophies that he stands on. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? He stands on a lot of different things. He looks at things a lot of different ways. So I told him as he comes to do the shop, and some of the brothers down in the shop, they love to debate with him. You know what I'm saying? Some of them get heated, turn red, you know what I'm saying?
Which is not my
No,
intention.
I don't know. I think it kind of is, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, but it always makes for good conversation, great conversation. So I told him when we have the show that he gotta come on because he stands on his views and his perspectives, and and we need that. So that's what we have here today. So we have these brothers here. There's gonna be some more people that's gonna be joining us. Gonna be interesting conversation, and these brothers gonna keep, we're gonna continue to do this, and we'll continue to keep bringing people back, like I said, because we want to do this starting once a week. You know what I'm saying? We'll probably go to twice a week, you know what I'm saying, as we go on and as we start to get the flow of what it is that we're doing. So thank everybody for joining us. here today, and we just gonna flow like we in the barbershop, even though I'm not cutting hair right now, but we still gonna flow like we like that's what's going on. All right. So Dr. Ragland. So
Yes,
we
sir.
have the book
Mhm.
Putting Your Dog to Sleep. So okay, all right, explain. Emphasizing the cheating desire.
Euthanizing.
I'm sorry, what is it?
Euthanizing.
Euthanizing the cheating desire in men.
Right.
Okay, all right. So yeah, all right, jump right into it. I mean, explain that.
Well, again, I just want to thank you, Brother Jabbar, for inviting me out to be a part of this discussion. It's definitely a conversation that, I believe that we should be having not only, in our communities, but definitely a conversation that men should be having. Uh, I apologize if my voice sounds a little scratchy. I've, been speaking a lot, so it seems to be a little hoarse. I hope the audience can hear me clearly. But putting your dog to sleep actually was a concept that it really came about in 2006. When I was when I was going, getting my doctorate at Arlington University over in Washington D.C. I had two ideas that came to me. One was transition therapy. So I have my first book I wrote, Transition Therapy, Theory, Research, Recommendations for Treating African American Men Experiencing Post-Incarceration Transition Syndrome. My background was mental health. My doctorate is in counseling psychology. I'm a licensed clinical professional counselor. But also, I'm a brother who has spent over 33 years from age 13 up until the age of 40. There never was a 2-year period of time when that was on probation, parole, in jail, or in prison. And so that was the kind of impetus for me writing my first book, Transition Therapy, because I really felt and believe, I truly believe and know that as African American men, we have an issue. We suffer from a non-diagnosed mental illness I call post-incarceration transition syndrome. So as a result of what I believe was inspired by God to write this book, also during that time, the second book came to me, which is titled this book here, Putting Your Dog to Sleep. It was in 2006.
That's a great cover.
Thank you. And a shout out to Brother Max, the brother who designed the cover, the brother out in Washington D.C. Need to get a shout out to this brother right here. Love the brother, and he really, he really did this thing, in designing this. And so William Maxwell, WM Graphics out of Washington D.C. Designed the cover. That's just the interior and the exterior cover. So shout out to you, Will. But this idea came to me as well. So this is 2006, but because my background is mental health, so the first book was transition therapy. I really want, I go inside the prison. Even to this day, I still go into the prison, Maryland Correctional Institute in Jessup, working with a lot of brothers in there, and that's what I'm really passionate about. But the idea of putting your dog, he never got away from me. So this is my second book. And I talk about this book because one of the things that I've seen is as among men, what I believe that we continue to do wrong is that as men, we truly don't understand the gift that we've been given. And what I mean the gift is that we have a masculine energy. We are the builders, we are the creators of the civilization of the world, along with our sisters. We're the first human beings to walk upon the face of the earth. But all men have this energy, not just black men, but all men have this energy. But what I felt that we aren't doing as black men is that we don't fully understand the gift that we have been given, because we were the first human beings to walk upon the face of the earth. So all human beings came from us. They are our children. But what other cultures and groups have done is that what we established through our civilization, what we established through our humanity, in terms of our culture, our arts, our sciences, our architect, our agriculture, other men learn from it, and they continue to build on that. Well, we know that, not just somewhat deep into the history of of how we've been enslaved, but something happened along the way that we've gotten away from that DNA that's still in us, that I believe still in us today. That our ancestors, thousands of years ago, who civilized the world, who gave the world, humanity, we've gotten away from it as black men. But as men in general, that I believe in a creator. I don't believe And my concept of the creator is not necessarily what we've been given by Hollywood. You know, I don't believe necessarily there's some supreme being in the sky somewhere. There's a devil in the ground. But I do believe there's something that brought all this into being. What that is, not exactly sure. My concept of it is that it is that when I look out into creation, I see something greater than myself. And I believe that this creator has endowed us, with this, this potential, if you will, that allow us to be able to, to create and build. Now, I'm Muslim, my faith is Islam, so I lean heavily on the Quran. And when the passage in the Quran says is that there's two things. One is the law says that I made you a vicegerent. I mean, I made you a ruler. He's talking about the man, talking about the human being. And I think as men, we have a primary purpose. It doesn't take away from the sisters or the female, but as men, we have a primary purpose that we are, we protect the environment. We protect our family. We protect our community. We protect our environment. We nurture the environment. And women has a primary role as well. They the one is that they carry our children, and they give birth to our children, and then the children suck from their breasts, and then they raise our children. So we both have primary roles that we play within creation. This is about nature. So whether you believe in a God, whether you believe in nature, whether you believe in a universe, these are irrefutable facts. We have primary roles in society. But as men, what we have done wrong, I believe, because of the masculine energy that we have, we've used that energy in a way to destroy. We built great things, obviously, in the list, and we all, we can go anywhere from the four corners of the world, and we can see the, what man has created, but also we see the destruction. And so for me, primarily focused on is the masculine energy is terms that how we have misused, I would say, our sexuality in a way that's creating many of the problems, as Jabari alluded to, from cheating, from infidelity, from misogynistic behavior, from unwanted pregnancies, from children born out of wedlock. This is a result of man in terms of how he has demonstrated himself within society.
Is that what I guess people consider toxic masculinity? Is that the same thing or similar? Or
well,
somebody says toxic masculinity? Is that what it sounds like that's what you're describing what someone would consider toxic masculinity?
Well, I think there are people who talk about toxic masculinity. I use the word toxic masculinity. It is a book in the book that define that. When I'm speaking, not really toxic masculinity. For me, this goes a little bit deeper. I think this is more of a socialization issue that faces all men in the four corners of the world. Is that as a result of that, men do become toxic. But I think before even the man became toxic with that, before man became, as we like to define the word toxicity, is that man did not fully understand the power that he had, that he was given. We're the God that walk upon the face of the earth. We're not the God, but we're God upon the face of the earth. Allah says that he has placed everything in creation for the benefit of the man. This is man, not man in terms of his sex, but mankind, the male and the female. So, but this is why man is able to go into the outer space. This is why man is able to go into the deepest part of the ocean. This is why man is able to build upon the land, because of their creativity and power that he has. But also with their power comes responsibility. And one of the things that we have done wrong as men is that we've taken, because of lack of understanding, and we have abused, I'm specifically speaking about our sexuality in a way that where many of the problems that we're seeing, and getting more specific within our community is that because we have abused it. So we've taken something that was given that is sacred, in terms of our human sexuality that was ordained by the Creator, and we've made it into something that is unsacred. This is why many times, because we focus most of our attention on the pleasure aspect of our sexuality. So the primary purpose of our sexuality is reproduction, is repopulating the world, the families, the communities, and the world as a whole. That's the primary purpose of our sexuality. It has a secondary function, which is the pleasure, but the primary purpose is to repopulate the world. Now, obviously, the Creator says, well, look, not only we want to populate, that you can find joy and pleasure within each other. That is the pleasure side of it. But what we have done as men is that we take the pleasure side of it and we misuse that. We continue to populate the world. We focus primarily for many reasons. We focus on the pleasure side of it. And as a result, your responsibility comes that there's nothing wrong with our sexuality. The one man truly does enjoy the pleasure of being with a woman and vice versa. But what we're doing is that And we can go a little bit deep into it, but
before we go there, it seems like there might be a problem there because because us men are raised the idea like, we're supposed to like populate the world. You know what I mean? So you have that part of you, and then the other side you have the pleasure part of you.
correct.
So you can see how there could be a problem with, where a person, with already intention to populate the world. It makes it that much easier when you're dealing with something as pleasurable as, sex itself. So,
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. And you're absolutely correct in what you're saying. The challenge is that it comes from the socialization aspect of it. What I mean, the socialization aspect of it is that yes, there's pleasure in being with with a woman, but what we have done, and unfortunately, what has happened to us is that we have been socialized as men to focus primarily on the sexual, on the pleasurable side of it, meaning that the sex with all things, with all things, there's a response. Sex has a responsibility. And we have responsibility is that when we talk about having sex, obviously that you can bring life into existence. When a man obviously engage in an intimate sex relationship with a woman, every time that take place, what takes place with the female body is the body naturally goes into begin to respond as in receiving a child, if you will. This is why when a woman has the menstruation, is that when she comes on her cycle, comes on her moon, and she's obviously not pregnant, obviously, she releases the flow of her menstrual flow, from her body. But prior to that, to her doing we say the sexual contact between the male and the female, physiologically, the mind go into a state of conception, meaning that this is why when women engage in sex with a man, there's a bonding that takes place, a chemical that releases within the brain that connects. This is why women say that we say on the general sense that women that they have to connect with a man before they can be intimate with him. Now we can get a little bit deep into that, but I'm saying but things have definitely changed. What I'm saying, but again, but it doesn't change the nature of it doesn't change the nature of the female human beings that, but every time that a woman engages in sex with a human being, the body automatically, the brain thinks that they're reproducing because that's the primary function. So she goes into that function. What happens is that when she doesn't become pregnant, that's why she has a cycle. So the body automatically is we've been designed, if she has been designed that when she have sex, is the brain releases those bonding chemicals as well as it releases the chemicals that where the body move into a physiological position, if you will, to conceive a child. And see, with the man, what happens is with the man is that in his position is that which is equally as important is that when he began to say have sex with a woman and he ejaculates, the sperm into the female, he doesn't know necessarily if he's going to produce the child. But obviously, he can know he's healthy. He's healthy. He's able to ejaculate, so the potential is there. And I'm saying, but the focus, but what's happened is that man's gotten away from the responsibility of sex, of intimacy, in a way that where it's primarily just having sex, knowing that he carried the potential with him to produce another human being. And so this is what I'm talking about, that where it is that, it is the socialization that where it's not understanding that every time that if you say you're having sex with someone, you're not using a condom, a birth control pill, the possibility of conceiving a child is always present there. And the body naturally responds to that because this is the nature of the human beings. This is why, and of course, when she have a cycle, she's not pregnant, but the body, it is, and it doesn't matter whether, it is the color of a man's skin, or the color of a woman's, skin. It just because it responded, it is a natural orientation. So this is what I mean by that, where that the irresponsibility, because we have been socialized, and then again, we have to go back to the very beginning. So what we're seeing today is a result of male socialization that has come from a misguided. And I talk about in my book where I talk about we have to begin to look at how we were taught. And this is not a shot at the Christian community or any one of their religious beliefs, but I think we have to really go back because in my estimation, that it is clear that when we look at the books that have been written, we look at the religious books, the religious texts. We look at the Torah or the Old Testament. If we look at the Injil or the New Testament, if we look at the Quran, if we look at the Hosea, I'm saying these books were written primarily by men, and we go to the passage in the Genesis, well, according to the Genesis, that God said that He's going to create man, and He created man. He fashioned man from the ground, from the earth, and then he breathed of His Spirit into man, meaning that He had placed something of Himself within the human being that allow us to be, we'll say God within this human form.
Just to let you know, since we're introducing ourselves on, I would probably be a word that's probably could probably best represent me and where I stand with the belief system. Would probably be more like atheist.
Okay.
So the things, so so I don't necessarily, of course, take those stories literal.
Okay.
I just wanted to just.
No, I'm glad you shared that, because see,
I apologize.
no, and see, I'm glad you shared it with me, but
I don't want to come and seem like as if like I agree with that.
No.
Things as being true as true.
No. I'm glad you pointed that out, because what I'm speaking of is that it's not necessarily what someone is an atheist or a Christian or a Muslim. What I'm speaking of is that the understanding that men that have gathered who subscribe to the belief that he is superior to the female, that God made him, but God did not make the woman. And I'm saying the socialization come from, even though we say within the United States, the majority of the people in the United States, I would say, in terms of religious body, is within the Christian community. Even though we have a Muslim community here, we have a Christian community here, we have a Jewish community here, but the dominant population within the United States, say, is the Christian community.
Yeah, probably like 70% or something like that.
Okay, so and when we take that, and even those who may not necessarily subscribe to a particular Christian orientation, the belief is that man is the dominant being. That it's not all generally speaking, that not all men subscribe, not all women subscribe to this, but there are a lot of men, a lot of women who believe that man's the dominant being. And I'm saying that belief can be traced back, say, to our orientation.
And I think that's where a lot of problems come from, where we again raise our men to with the understanding they are better,
right,
and they are dominant. That's why they may be less likely to take respect. They might be less likely to take disrespect from a woman, because they already feel like you're not even in a position to even do that. So then that comes all kinds of problems with abuse and things like that. So, so I guess it's like what the text prevent is like an evolution to reflect the times. Because there may have been a time where it may have been more suitable for a woman to be in one position and a male with another position. But through our evolution as a society, as a species, we're at a point now where that may not necessarily be true. And what the texts do, they prevent people from even start to think and see like that, because they already feel that their belief system has something so ingrained, so it makes it hard to even move from that way of thinking, even if it's necessary at that time. And I think that's one of the chains that religion can have to the human species as it is.
Well, I definitely agree that if we, from what we're able to know, that's the thing, is that when we look at, say, some of the earlier behaviors of mankind and how man, in terms of how they treated women, even today, there are 13 countries today where a woman, if she's found to commit adultery, she did not.
Well, even here in America, a woman doesn't have the right on if she has a child or not. That's something that just recently been taken away.
Right, right. But my point is that so speaking of what you're saying is that even though we've made mankind has made some progress in terms of this relationship, in terms of with women, like in some of the Islamic countries, or it's like Afghanistan. From what I understand about Afghanistan, is that some of the women aren't allowed, say, to attend, to get an education. I can't think of the sister's name who was shot maybe some years ago. Who was no, she survived, but she was shot in the head because she was an activist who spoke out with women's rights. So I'm saying there's something the Christians possibly different countries where the woman not allowed to even drive a car.
Yeah.
So I'm saying but I'm only bringing up to say that when we get.
But even here in our own country, as a Lyft driver, I hear so many times that women here are even, like, fear to drive at nighttime. even as a Lyft driver, or even as a passenger, or just driving their own car. It's just like
That speaks to what I'm saying is because we have to go back as men. We have to go back as men and begin to really examine our teaching. Because though we're talking about thousands of years, that's been ingrained to our very psyche. Where even when we think that we have evolved as men in a way of relating better, say, to the woman, we still carry within in our DNA some of those ways that's been very harmful, if you will,
Yeah.
in terms of relationship. You know what I'm saying? So we have to go back and to examine, because if we don't understand the root of the problem, we can't correct it. And my thing is that, as I stated earlier, that it's not an indictment, because I'm a supporter of Christianity. I read the Bible. I think there's the scriptures and the patches that was in the Bible. I think there's a lot of great deal of knowledge within the Bible, but there are things in the Bible that when we think about nature, and I got this from the brother Sheikh Anta Diop, who's one of the ancestors who transitioned now. But Sheikh Anta Diop he was linguistics. He was a scientist, and he talked about creation in the sense that how we evolved as human beings. And one of the things he shared was that in terms of how mankind began to evolve in a way, whereas it basically started in one area, which we know took place over in the continent of Africa, and it began to migrate to the four corners of the world. And I bring it up to say that when we begin to look, well, when we go back and look at the natural order of things, is that somewhere along the way, when the writing began to take place, say in book form, because men have always recorded, whether recorded on stones, recorded in the caves, there always been some form of recording. But when we began to record on paper, if you will, and begin to make books as a result of that, this primarily was done by men. And men wrote from a position of control, if you will. This is why in the Bible it says that God fashioned man with his own hands out of the ground, but woman was fashioned from the rib of man. Now we have to begin to examine, because we look at creation. So what that is saying is that the creator, those who believe in the creator, the God said, well, look, I'm going to make you in my image, and I'm going to take, but the female, I'm going to take her out of your body and from a rib of yours, and this I'm going to make woman. So meaning she had a different creation than what, even though she's here, obviously, but her creation was not created by, it was created by God out of your body, which means that God said, well, look, I'm not going to give her a independent creation like I gave man. I'm going to give her a secondary creation. And my thing, but no other species is born like, there's always a pair, there's always a balance, there's always, and this is what Sheikh Ndiba was saying, was that since the beginning, there's always been a male and a female. So if we subscribe to the belief that there is a God, if we subscribe to that belief, but then there's something wrong within that description where we say that, well, God said he would take man and he would fashion man from the earth, from the grounds, but yet he would not do the same for the other half of humanity. Well, we look at a natural process, if you will, means that God brings things into being, then the male and the female came about simultaneously in the same kind of order. It wasn't that one had a different creation, if you will. They both had the same creation, if you will, emerging from the will of the creator, both having primary and secondary functions within the nature, within the environment in which they live, and both having primary and secondary roles that's supposed to play. And I'm saying, but the passage in the Bible is within Genesis, and let me put on my glasses. But the actual passage states that how God calls man, God said created man. Man was by himself. There was no female, he was by himself. Then God caused man to go into a deep sleep and created created the female from the rib, because man needed a helpmate. I'm saying that is written from a male chauvinist perspective. In my belief, because because it doesn't support the natural order of creation. When you look at creation doesn't operate within that form. So that's why
the overall logic, because I mean we all know that we all come from out of a woman. I mean, we literally come from out of a woman, whether you're male or female. We all come from out of a woman. It would take what one might think is chauvinistic thinking to say that, and just to flip the whole thing upside its head, to be like, no, a woman actually came out of you. It's because and then from there it seems like that's where maybe this whole problem with the whole gender roles seem to probably start from right there.
Right. Go ahead, brother.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just going to read it.
So your whole point is that I mean, you were saying that it seems to be male chauvinism so far as in the creation and the creation story. Do you believe in that? You know what I'm saying?
No,
That woman was made from the rib,
no,
or you just using it as an example.
no. Oh, I don't believe. I believe that when I look at creation and look at how creatures come into being, one of the things that's taught me, there's always a pair, a male and a female. That's balanced.
Right.
With all creation, everything has an opposite, a male and a female. And but when we begin to examine, excuse me, when we begin to examine some of the stories, say within the Bible, then there's a contradiction, because now, even though woman does exist, obviously, but in her creation, the creation was different. And this is the part that I challenge, is that if nature always gave, there's always been an up and a down. There's always been an in and an out. There's always been a hot and a cold. There's always been a sun and the moon. But God said that we are his greatest creation, the human being, with the greatest creation. But now that creation changes now in terms of how God brings the human being into existence, meaning that everything in creation outside of the human being, all other forms of creation, the plants, the flowers, the trees, the fish, and all of that, had a very independent creation, if you will, simultaneously, in pairs, a male and a female, a balance within nature. But when God, we say, if we will use the human term, decide to create the human being, God changed that phenomenon and say, you know what, I'm going to create man by himself. And I'm going to place him in an environment, and he's going to be alone. Then at some point in time, I'm going to create the female. Not that I'm going to place them both, say, within creation at the same time. I'm going to place one there, which is the man. And then when I decide, now I'm going to take the earth of the ground, and I'm going to fashion that earth, and I'm going to mold it, and I'm going to give it, limbs. I'm going to give it, the five senses. I'm going to give it a brain. Then I'm going to breathe of my spirit into that creation. And now man has the potential now to, like, in relative terms to the human nature, the human being, God-like upon the face of the earth. Now I'm going to take the female, the woman, I'm going to take her from his rib. I'm not going to fashion her from the ground like I fashion man. I'm not going to create her in the same order, if you will, natural order that I created man. I'm going to change my creation now. And I'm going to cause man to go into a deep sleep, according to the Bible. And then I'm going to take a rib out of him. You know what I'm saying? But see, we're talking about.
So you do believe that man was first?
No, I don't believe that.
Oh, you don't believe man at first?
No, what I believe is that when we talk about, see, I believe in evolution and I believe in creation. I believe in science and I believe in I think many times we get away from, we believe that when we get to the crazy thing that God just say be and it just naturally disappear there. If you go back and begin to look at it, I think we all evolved from the life cells is probably billions of years, what's it existed, say, over a billion years. But the cell of the human being began to take place, we say, millions of years ago. Mm-hmm. And what happened was that cell began to take on many forms, adapting to this environment. So I believe in the theory of evolution, where that when God say brought this into being, that if we begin to look at, I want you to think about, you have daughters, I have daughters, we have children. Mm-hmm. We look at the sperm. Okay, what does that look like? And then when you look at the what's it called, sonogram,
ultrasound.
Ultrasound, of the infant, inside the mother womb. And you look at the shape. What does that remind you of? And then also, I want you to think about man. And we talk about first man as we understood man in terms of what we've been exposed to. So when the baby comes down, think about where does the baby grow? Inside the mother with womb, and the womb is where? It's filled with what? Water, amniotic fluid. That's water. All the creation comes out of water. The Bible says that there was a paraphrase, a dark face of the earth, and then out of the sea, things emerge. The Quran talks about, I think it's coming out of the water. The Hussein talks about how life evolved, out of the water. But so creation is Allah. This didn't dawn on me years ago. I'm probably in my 50s when the light bulb comes on. Is that the creation of the human being has been right before us, that we've always looked outside of that, and it was right there the whole time. So the baby takes place, the child's conceived within the water. The father and the mother come together, they procreate, they create, they give, through the will of the Creator, they conceive a child, and that child grows in the womb of the mother. But look at the shape of this, look at the form of the child. And when the child is born, what takes place? It's laying on his stomach. Just laying on his stomach. Think about that in Hebrew. What take place? Just laying on it. What does it look like? The head shape. What does that baby resemble? Then all of a sudden the baby stands up, begin to try to walk. You begin to look at the first man as he's trying to start crawling first. How man see, as modern man, we didn't always look like this in the very beginning. We evolved to what we call the modern man. But if we go back millions of years ago, we didn't always look like this. But we began to through the different phases of development that took place, say within the Cro-Magnon man, the Homo sapien, all those different stages, we get to where we are today. We call the modern day man. But we go back to the very beginning, where when man, when he his weight, the size of the brain was humped over, but then he began to walk upright. When you look at your own children, what are they? They're on their stomach, they can't move. They begin to try to walk. They start crawling first. Then they begin to walk upright. Creation is right there before it comes out of the water.
Mentioning those things kind of make me makes me think like, well, one, hear me out, man. When Adam was first created, did he have balls?
The testicles?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
If there was no woman, he wouldn't have needed them, right? Because the only really purpose of that is for that. So when did that come about? If
the name.
I never thought of that. At first I was thinking a penis, but of course, yeah, you can still use that to, your feces and all, waste and all that kind of stuff. But your testicles, if there was no women, then did God create Adam with testicles, or when did he? Adam eventually come across testicles. Once the woman was
and it all go back. I mean, with these debates, do you subscribe to that? You know what I'm saying? Do you believe in Adam and Eve story? Do you believe in that creation story in general? You know what I'm saying? I mean, because a lot of people just use it as a story. You know what I'm saying? To talk about how we came about. Some people take it. Some people take it literally. Some people like, yo, no, it happened like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's why I was trying to get, to the midst of, what it is we saying. And then I do want to swerve back because I don't want to go away from, even though I know this is all tied in,
right?
You know what I'm saying? To what it is that we're trying to say. But go ahead, bro. You want to make another point?
I may have lost track. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Let me say this right here, brother. I understand what you're saying, and you have to be correct in what you're saying. Is that it goes back to what you subscribe and what you believe. Yeah, some people take it literally, then some people understand it's allegorical. Okay, I believe that if you understand God on a physical level, and I'll give you an example, a quick example. In the Bible, in the New Testament, the story of the three temptations. Okay, this is when Jesus fasted for 40 days. And in those 40 days, Jesus was tempted by Satan, or the devil, if you will. The first level, because I like to put the physical, mental, and the spiritual. Some men understand God on the physical level. So Satan approached Jesus and said, well, look, if you truly be the Son of God, cast these stones to bread. Jesus said, the man does not live by bread alone, but by every word proceeded out of his mouth. So that's on a physical level. So sometimes in the physical sense, we're able to understand God in the physical sense. On the mental level, Jesus says, on the mental level that surely, Satan says, surely, if you're the Son of God, and I'm paraphrasing, then jump off this pinnacle right here, and God will send the angel to catch you before you hit the ground. Jesus said, man should not tempt thy Lord thy God. That's on a mental level. Because Jesus understood that even though I'm the Son of God, as we understood him, but he was a human being. So if I climb on top of this building right here, I'm a child of God, but I got enough sense to understand if I jump off this building, I can kill myself. That's intelligence. So Jesus understood that. So first Shaitan tried to approach Jesus in the physical sense, say, I know you're hungry, eat this bread right here. Jesus said, you don't live by bread alone. So for the physical minded man, he's able to see God in the physical sense. The intellectual minded man see God, say, well, look, I understand God, but I'm not going to tempt God. I'm not going to climb on top building, jump off the building and think somehow God's going to save me. That's not thinking rationally. Being on the spiritual sense. Satan said, well, look, if you were son, I'm going to give you all of this right here. The city, behold, all you got to do is deny God. Jesus, he said, what is that for man to gain the world and lose his soul? It's on a spiritual level, meaning I can have all of these riches right here. I can have the money, I have the gold, but I still lose my soul. That's on a spiritual level. I'm only bringing it up to say that God reveals his reality to the level man, the way man understand him. Some people are going to look and read the Bible and say, Adam and Eve existed. And my thing, if you understand God through that, then all praise is due to the law, at least you recognize it as God. But also understand that there's allegoricals in the Bible when Jesus said every tree should be known by the fruit that he's bear. Is he talking about a physical tree, or is he telling a story, meaning that every human being will be known by his deeds and his actions? Your fruits are your deeds and your actions. You are the tree. The human being, you are the tree. Your fruits, what comes from you? Do you do good or do you do bad? Those are your fruits. These are your actions. So there's allegorical place within the Bible as well. So I'm saying, so you have to be able to go understand that when we read the Bible, when we read the Quran, when we read the scripture, when we read the ancient text, some of the texts are can be interpreted literally, and some text has to be interpreted in a very allegorical sense as well.
I always had a beef with that last one, about gaining, what's the use of a man gaining all the riches of the world and losing his soul? Because it seemed like it promotes poverty almost. Like that's one of the issues I had with it. Like you should be able, like if you're here on this place, this is the one life to live. You should be able to, strive and be out and try to get to finding things in life and so on like that. And at the same time, no, you shouldn't. Yeah, I agree. You shouldn't, quote unquote, sell your soul, nothing like that. But there should be a balance that you should be able to enjoy the riches of the earth,
exactly,
but not at the same time be thought like you then sold out or selling your soul, or you doing, something.
You said
like that.
It's a balance, but it's a balance. There's nothing wrong with you being rich. There's nothing wrong with Bill Gates or Oprah Winfrey having the money they have. Nothing wrong with that. I would love to have $1 billion, be a billionaire.
You would hope that you'd be charitable at the same time.
But my point is this right here. It should not become my God. I should not sell my soul for that. And this is what Jesus was saying. The devil was saying to Jesus, well, look, just serve me. Jesus was saying, no, what's that for man to gain the world by losing his soul? So if I got to sell my soul to be a billionaire, I don't want the money. Because my soul is the most precious thing that I have. It didn't come from the Creator. But if I can have $1 billion, earn $1 billion, inshallah, and still be a human being, still be God-free, then of course I would. The law says, I made you vicegerent upon the face of the earth. I gave you the power that everything that you can subdue, all the electricity, the gas, the metals, is here for the benefit of man. God never said you can't take this and become successful and become rich and become, use it for the good. No, this is what I said. But when we take these things and we exploit these things for selfish reasons, for pride, in an arrogant way, exploitation, then that's when it becomes wrong. Nothing wrong with that. It's just when we exploit these things.
So look, let's try to keep it here. You know what I'm saying? So to come back, putting your dog to sleep. So I know we talk about some history, some things like that. So what is because I see when you start off with an apology. Actually, start off with an apology to to Sandra and to Rochelle. Yeah, start off with two apologies. So what? So I know you gave a little bit of background. You know what I'm saying? But what is it? I mean, that you looking in a community, you like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like you came with a concept. We need to we got to chill out. We got to, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is it that really hits you? I guess even from your personal, and then just even out in the community that said, I gotta put this book out.
Well, again, what was the driving force behind this book? It started with, having the vision to write the book, but also looking at my own life. So as Jabari mentioned, I opened up with the book, and Sandra was my first wife. My two older children that we conceived from children. And, and I cheated on her, and I cheated on her. I was selfish, only thought of myself, And I'm not going to try to rationalize why I did it. I'm not going to try to justify why I did it. At the end of the day, I was married, and I became involved with another woman. And as a result of that, my, we got divorced after the divorce. We had 2 children, still have 2 children. And I saw what I did to my family, through my actions, through being with another woman, my marriage. I saw what it did to her. But at the time when I did it, I was not in the place that I should, in the spiritual place, I would say in a mature spiritual place, if you will, where instead of me thinking about my choices and consequences in a much deeper way, I thought about it in a very superficial way. Meaning that I cared more about what satisfied myself. And as a result, that my oldest daughter, my oldest son, and Sandra, I broke our family. I didn't try to say keep only thinking about myself. So Oprah with an apology within the book, an apology to her, because now I have a deeper understanding of what I did. But at the time, I didn't understand that. And moved. And the second apology is to Richette, my second wife. Now we were together for 20 years. Miss Sandra and I, we met when I was 18. I was young, wasn't ready to be a father. Wasn't responsible, wasn't mature. I was robbing. I was sitting. So that's the other side. I talked about, shared that with you. Is that I spent over 33 years of my life in and out of jail, probation, going in prison, all of that. My first arrest came when I was 13 years old. My last arrest came when I was 25. But spending 12 years of my life in prison, but just constant for 33 years of my life from 13 up until 40, just out of probation, parole, in and out of jail, and out of prison. So I wasn't ready to be a father. I wasn't ready to be responsible enough to be a father, to be a husband, even to be a productive member of society.
During that time, would you consider yourself being dedicated to your faith, or did you have faith? Or
No. I'm saying I had faith.
Yeah.
No, like most people growing up in the South, I was raised up in the church. But when I became 13, I was exposed to Islam. The first book, conscious book, I ever read was Message to the Black Man by Honorable Elijah Muhammad. My brother gave me. That's the first conscious book I ever read in my life. I didn't know what I had, but I was 13 years old. But there was something in that book that triggered something in me that when I took Shahada, I made a declaration of faith that embraced Islam when I was 16 years old. This is 1973.
What was that? Was it Maryland at the time?
No, I was in Alabama. I'm really from Anderson, Alabama.
So the Nation of Islam had made its way down to the.
Oh yeah, Nation of Islam was my older brother. He was a member of the Nation. He was in the Navy. He was a member of the Nation of Islam. But even though I remember seeing, black Muslims, in my community at 7, 8 years old, because close to it with Birmingham and Atlanta, Georgia, they were close to where I lived. So they at the time they were called the Muhammad Speaks. It was called the Muhammad Speaks. So I remember seeing it as a little kid. So I took Shahada. I was 13. So I had one foot in the masjid, another foot in the street because I wasn't ready.
Yeah, 13 years old, you wouldn't expect.
No. I'm saying 16. Now I'm saying even when I turned 18, I was into Islam, but I had committed myself to the obedience of being a true Muslim in the way that I should have. That's why I was cheating. I was robbing. I was doing all the things that I was doing. And what had happened was, long story short, I went to prison, came home, grabbed my wife. Divorced. I don't want to be married, and got. Many other sisters became involved while still being married. But what prompted the book is what I began to see what I was, some level what I did to my family, my 2 oldest children, and to their mother, what it took them through. But I still hadn't learned my lesson yet because I was still growing, still maturing. And then the second wife, 20 years of marriage, but also got into a place.
Let me pause you before you go into the second wife. Also join us because I want to hear what his microphone sound like. You can speak strong to the microphone too. We do have one of the barbers from Conscious Heads, that's joined us. He's on the floor. We down on the floor. We debating every day. Debating. Exchanging knowledge, information, inspiration, all of that. That's what we do on the floor downstairs. So I appreciate it. So he's joining us, and hopefully he'll be joining us a lot in a lot of these conversations that we actually have, because he's always in every conversation anyway down on the floor. I want him to just introduce himself. I want to hear what his microphone sound like, but go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Kenny. I was in the barbering boot camp, one of Jabari's apprentices, and I'm just here listening to the knowledge from the brother, man. He teaching me something. I'm a married man. I can learn from an experienced married man such as himself. So I'm just here soaking up game. Good to see y'all. Okay, was that good? How'd it sound?
Sounds like, but if you could try to, when you talk, just try to like talk
Oh, yeah,
directly
okay,
into
I
that
got you, I got you.
into that microphone
Okay,
a little bit more.
go ahead, sir. I'm sorry. You just said.
Okay, yeah, second wife.
Okay, so second wife. So now, so I go to prison, I get out, I come home. I go to prison at 25. I'm 30. I come home 37 years old. So still my first wife. I'm thinking the whole time because see when I went to prison, and one thing about people is that when you go to prison, this thing called arrested development. Whatever level of maturity you was on when you're in prison, you stay stuck right there. Even though chronologically, I came home, I was 37, but in terms of socialization, I was still 25 years old. But yet my queen at the time, she was 36 years old. But so when I came home after being in prison for 12 years of my life, 37 years old, feel like I had missed something. I'm ready to do me. So I wasn't thinking about her, even though I had developed on some ways, meaning that I knew I didn't want to go back to prison. I knew that I wanted to change my life, but my behavior in terms of my relationship, say with women, with children, I had not matured in that way. So I came home. I said, you know what? I'm gonna do me. Got involved with a sister, and long story short, divorcing my wife, cheated with her, and then my second wife, Richette. We get married. We met in college. I'm in college now. We meet in college, and decide, okay, we want to get into a relationship. And this is 70. We meet in 95. We get married in 98. In 98, we stayed married for almost 20 years. Well, in a 20-year period, I still wasn't ready, even though because when I got married, it was more about the material gain. I realized the relationship that we have a sister, she was college educated, I was college educated. We had an opportunity to make money, had a good job. So we was building materially. We had achieved the American dream. 2-car garage, had built a home out there, in Harford County. No, we achieved the American dream. They had one child, but still, I was still selfish. I was still self-centered. I was still thinking about myself, but also I knew that I had not dealt with which was a greater issue. I had not submitted myself totally to the will of God. But I still had a wandering eye, if you will. At the time when we got married, now, not to justify my behavior, but I went into it, I said, I want to do what's right. That's how I went into the marriage. That came later on in the marriage when I began to realize that, unfortunately, when I began to outgrow what I believe, because I was in search I was trying to develop myself in a spiritual sense. And even though I loved my wife, my ex-wife, and in life we had, but spiritually, I felt that I was looking for something greater, if you will, something greater, and in search of that. And she became, unfortunately, the second victim of my behavior. Because again, going through my trials, going through my tribulations, not humbling myself, not giving way to myself, not understanding what was taking place within me, then I became involved with someone else. And then I cheated on her. So at some point in my life, you know what? I can't, I got to get to a place with my being, because I began to realize that it wasn't, I couldn't do what's right. I didn't want to do what's right. So I had to mature from being selfish to being so, okay, how I begin to care about the women, the mothers of my children, my wife, in a way that's reflective of God. So the one thing that began to help me was I began to truly have a relationship with God. And that kind of part of the book is that I began to realize that there's nothing my two wives could have done. You can't, she couldn't have been pretty enough. She couldn't cook enough. She couldn't have great sex enough. She couldn't have more money enough. What was taking place within me, only I was able to correct. And see, and nothing she could have done about it. Only choice she had, do I want to stay with Ali or do I leave? That's the only choice. In terms of my behavior, that's totally my responsibility. I have to make the decision within myself to say, well, look, I'm not going to live like this. I'm not going to be this person anymore. And the way to do that is that reach out to God, and say, God, I want to truly serve you. And that's when I got into a place of my being and where I am to this day. And this took place, we're 2023 now. So I know for when me and my wife was 2017, 2016, when I told my wife, I said, well, look, moving out, we had, I just didn't leave. We had conversations about what we want to do, what it's going to look like. I even talked about, maybe, polygamy. We had all those conversations. And the end result was they were, look, this is what you want. I'm not with that. And at the end of the day, so I said, okay, and I moved out. But that's when I said, you know what? But then I saw what I did to my 13-year-old daughter. And she writing letters, wanting to kill herself, man. 13-year-old child, she'll be 20 November the 1st. But my 13-year-old child, man, because we don't have one child. And she went through a thing where in school, acting out in school, man, teachers saying, she's sad, she's crying, she's writing letters, and my ex-wife called me saying, this is what's going on with our baby right here. All because of my behavior, man. And my two oldest kids to this day, me and my son, 43 years old, man. And if we make it sit down and talk like this, maybe 5 minutes. And he still get at me. I'm talking, nigga, you ain't shit. You ain't never been there in my life. Because he's hurt on the inside, man. This is what I did. Now I'm talking to the women, what I did to the women, what I made them feel like by rejecting them. If I said they weren't good enough. What the ex-mother had to go through, being in the hospital, having a nervous breakdown. I didn't get that, man, until it happened to me. When I got cheated on. That's when the light bulb went off and understood. When I understood that I did wrong. But I didn't understand what my wife was going through emotionally. I didn't understand what they were going through spiritually. I didn't understand what they were going through family and community until it happened to me. When it knocked me down to my knees. When you love someone, when you care about someone, when you want to be with that person, when you want to spend your life with that person, and that person rejects you and decide they want to be with somebody else. That's when I understood what I took my two wives through. But the idea came long before I even cheated. But there was something in me saying, I need to write this book right here. When I wrote the book, even then when I wrote this book was written even before the experience even happened to me. But after writing the book and going through what I went through, that's when it truly came to me what it done to two women. To 3 children. My first wife, my oldest daughter, 46 years old. My son, 43. My second wife, we got baby 20 years old, man. I'm to 46 and 43, and we just getting to a place being able to talk, man. Because of my choices, man. Both of those women was good women. They weren't bad women. We had problems like, everybody else had problems. But I chose to deal with it in a selfish way. That's why my third time around, I committed myself to God. And I can honestly say to this day right here, 7 years straight, I don't cheat. I don't cheat anymore. But see, not because I have a relationship with God now. I didn't have a relationship with God then. I have a relationship with God now. And my thing is I have a self-respect. But I didn't have self-respect, man. When you cheat, so you don't have self-respect. I took oath before God and said I'm going to honor these women. I didn't do that, man. Because I didn't have any self-respect. So I don't cheat because now I love my wife. If you get married again, we love the woman. But God is first in my life right now.
The consequences from God and not just
the consequences of God.
That's what a man got to be worried about first.
You see, so God had the woman that I marry, inshallah, I want her to care more about God than she care about me. Because she put God first, I'm not worried about what she's going to do to me because she's going to put God first. The woman that I marry, I care more about God than I care about her. Because once I care about God first, I know she ain't gonna be mistreated because of my relationship with the Creator.
Tell me if I'm wrong, because and that's one of the that's definitely one of the great things about a good thing about religion is the example that you put forth. But in my case, am I wrong for saying that the way me looking in the mirror is determining on if I'm doing right or wrong? If I'm able to look into myself and not be ashamed of who I see and what I see, is it wrong to have that approach?
No, I think
I'm not believing. What is it? Are you a part of any religion? Or
not at all. Not at all. I think like at this point in my life, at 43 years old in my life, I don't have a pastor, or anything like that to tell me, how to live my life. I don't, have any type of religious text to tell me how to live my life.
Atheist, or what you say?
I mean, I think that's a word is probably more, when people hear that word, they probably can better identify where I'm at. I wouldn't necessarily say that I would, go into that banner. I lean more on like facts and evidence, versus a belief system, where religion is primarily based off of a belief system, belief system that comes from the Bible and, which justifies the God and and the God is justified through the Bible. Me, I just kind of deal with, is no need to have to believe that is an actual son, because there's ways to prove that there's an actual son. I always ask people that if you had a chance for Jesus, as the story is, to have like stayed on earth, and not, as we believe, died and went to heaven and judged and so on, just stayed on earth. Would you rather have it that way, that Jesus stayed on earth, or the way the story goes where he resurrected and so on? And to me, it seemed like it would have been better if, Jesus, the real person, the person that we believe to have been, would have just stayed on earth. Like, what was the need to leave and go to heaven and so on, and leave us in this type of confusion? We got to battle each other over belief, and if you believe, and why you should believe and why you shouldn't believe. Where you could say, if I got a problem, instead of getting on my knees and praying, I could just catch a train, catch a bus, the next flight, and actually go to Jesus and and listen to him speak, listen to him talk, and things like that.
But Jesus said, "What's in me, all men can do." So what Jesus what Jesus said, what I do, all men can do. And what I mean by that is, we got to go back to the beginning. I'm asking you your first question.
We seem to be so flawed. I mean, not to.
No, I see what you're saying. But here's the question: you say, if I look in the mirror, can I? Based on paraphrasing, what you're saying, can I live with myself what I see?
Yeah, exactly.
Let me ask this right here. I don't have a gun. I just walk up to you and say, "Brother, run them sneakers right there." What you gonna say to me? I don't have a gun. I'm just, you go out the door, you leave Jabari Barbershop. I see you on 25th Street right there, bro. Run them sneakers. What you gonna do? What you gonna say?
Chance, I'm probably just gonna ignore you.
No, bro, I want them sneakers. What I'm saying, but what you feeling? What you thinking at the time when I say this to you?
I'm not gonna give them to you.
Okay, why?
Because they mine.
And why you not gonna give them to me? Is it right for me to take your stuff?
Of course not.
See, you have a sense of morality, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my point. You have a sense. You know right from wrong. Because if I want to take your sneakers off the top, bro, you're doing wrong. So you don't need a Bible for you to tell you that. Mm-hmm. It's something innately in you that rests within all of us. Before there was the Quran, before there was the Bible, before there was Hosea, man still acknowledged God. God said to understand me is to understand nature. So when God said that I breathed out my spirit into you, going back to the first human being, whether we believe that to be true or factual or not, the reality of it is that you know right from wrong. It's just that we don't give way to it. Every time, I can't remember a time in my life when I didn't know I was doing wrong. Now, I didn't understand it to the level I understand it now. I can remember at 7 years old going to my sister's pocketbook and getting, a dime out of pocket, going to the neighbor next door and buying some penny candy. I knew I was doing wrong. I'm saying, but to the degree I understand it now, obviously, because as a mature man. But see, but I've always had a sense of morality. We all understand now, morality can be subjective. Because I might think I'm doing wrong, you might think you're doing wrong. But I'm saying, but you have a conscience because you're a human being, and all human beings have conscience. And when when someone has done you wrong, and when you done wrong, the thing is, we suppress that, we don't give way to it. But the voice always speak to you. Sometimes always say, bro, don't do that. Don't do that. The voice always speak to you. Whether we call it intuition, whether we call it the sixth sense, whatever way you want to define it, something in you speaks to you when you're doing wrong. It happens each and every time. You can't, it's irrefutable. It's embedded within all of us. We just don't give way to it.
I want to say this too, just bringing it back around to like what you was talking about, like what your children went through, and, you know what I'm saying, and what you, the situation that you feel that you put your children through, and you know what I mean, and your wives through and all, speaks to a bigger issue of just the black family being hurt, you know what I'm saying, because rather they was cheating or they wasn't cheating, you know what I'm saying, I mean, and you looking at, your issue, it's the families being broken. I mean, I went through a divorce before, you know what I'm saying, and with 3 children there, and a divorce is like a death, you know what I'm saying, in general, you know what I'm saying, and you know what I mean, regardless of what happened between the mother, the father and the mother, your children are made to suffer in the same way, you know what I mean, whenever there's a breakup because of whatever issues, your children are made to suffer throughout that, you know what I'm saying, and some of them gain animosity towards the dads, some of them towards the moms, you know what I'm saying? It could be either way or whatever, how it's presented. It's a ugly situation, you know what I'm saying? But we've had a lot of that in the community, you know what I'm saying? So, I was just adding on because as you were saying that, I just know so many homes that, become broken and so many children. I know myself, I was a child of divorce, and I was so torn down by the divorce. My mom left when I was in kindergarten, and then I went to the first grade when they were separated, and I failed. I failed the first grade. I failed the first grade, and it was like people laugh a lot of, wow, wait a minute, you failed the first grade? You couldn't put blocks together, you know what I mean? Like whatever. It wasn't even that. It was that I was so like I was crying when I was home. I was, you know what I'm saying? Like I was, I wasn't paying attention. Like I wasn't, you know what I mean? I could not understand why I was living in this house and why it was silly to me that we go from this house with my mom and dad in the same house, and now we over here with grandma, and you know what I'm saying, and everybody else, you know what I mean? It didn't make sense, and it made me sad. It made me, you know what I'm saying, it made me angry, and it didn't make sense. I couldn't put it together. So when I would hear them argue and fuss on the phone, you know what I'm saying, like I'd run upstairs and cry, you know what I'm saying, I would go through those different things. But I'm just saying that, you know what I'm saying, so a bigger issue is just Black families just being torn apart. And you know what I mean, now, which brings us to another thing, because I know your book focuses on the desire in men, you know what I mean, cheating or whatever. Do you think the same desire is just as great in women, you know what I'm saying, for cheating, you know what I'm saying, as in men?
One of the things that I shared with others that I was talking to is that I knew the question was going to come. And see, the answer to the question is yes. Women do cheat. No doubt about that. But this conversation has to be about men. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We can have a conversation with women about women cheat. And I'm sure within the conversation, we will make reference points in using and saying, well, a woman did this right here. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying, but our focus has to be on, because I stated earlier, that it's not going to matter for woman cheating. My belief, when I go before the Creator, the Creator's not going to say, did your wife cheat on you, Ali? Did their wife hit you? Whatever she may have done, the Creator can say, what did you do? How did you respond to that? I can't say to the Creator, my wife cheated on me, that's why I cheated. I can say my wife cheated on me, that's why I take care of my kids. I have to say, as a human being, I serve you, I don't serve her.
I don't know. Why can't you say that though? You know what I mean? Like, because some people think, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, well, hey, look, he cheated, you know what I mean, such as cheated on me, you know what I'm saying? So the reason why I did that was because, you know what I mean, I'm like, you know what I mean, like with all that you did, no, I ain't saying you do. I'm just saying that is a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? Right. You didn't say that, you know what I'm saying? Like, this person robbed me, so I robbed, you know what I'm saying?
I get that. Because that was my mindset. Trust me.
Why we shouldn't take that mindset, you think?
The reason why we should take the mindset, because I think there are many schools of thought within this American society. Yeah. The conscious barbershop, conscious community. Yeah. So we subscribe to the African spirituality. Okay. One of the teachings of African spirituality is called the trial of what was Hunef, I think the trial of Hunef, where the heart is placed on the scale. Okay. In that, it talks about the negative confessions. No, I have not stolen, I have not desired, all of those things right here. When we talk about the heart, it said the heart has to be lighter than a feather. It says that on the scale of justice, you have your heart on one side, you have the feather on the other side. And I'm saying that is your heart on the scale. So when we go before, on the scale at a time. When we go before Batar's not going to say, Jabari, what did that woman do to you? Batar going to say, Jabari, what did you do? So the reason why we have to get to a place within our development saying, well, look, it hurts. It hurts like hell. I'm the king of get back coming up. No, you wrong me. I'm wrong in your back, player. Even today, at 6 years old, I still feel that way. I still get angry, but I also have a responsibility. So I have my choice is this right here. Now, how would I want to deal with that? Because no one should have control over you under any circumstances. So I can't say, I slapped her, she made me do it. Or she say, well, the reason why I cheated because he wasn't paying. No, that's your choice. You always have a choice. Now, you can make your choice because law says you have free will. You always got a choice, but choices have consequences. But at the end of the day, you can't say no one makes you do anything. We can't, even in our worst set of circumstances, we create an environment where you have to make some messed up choices, if you will. A choice that you may not want to make, but at the same time, in this environment, you having to make these choices. But at the end of the day, are you lawful in your actions? Not. So, what you're saying is, sure, a man can say, well, look, this is why I did this right here. I'm saying putting your dog to sleep. Men have gotten away from being, Allah says we are the maintainers and the providers of the community. We are the leaders. We are the gods on earth. Men are the gods on earth, and black men are the father of all the gods, and the black woman is the mother of all the gods. And I'm saying that when man walk within his natural masculinity, I'm not talking about toxic masculinity. I'm talking about his natural masculinity, where he's doing what he's supposed to be doing as a man. The woman will, trust me, she will, whatever way you align herself, she will submit herself, whatever adjective you want to use, she will fall in it, because that's her nature to submit to the masculine nature.
Now,
Just
people
like,
think that's toxic. You gotta address that.
right.
People think what you're saying right now is toxic masculinity.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's what he was
because it seems like
that's
it's
what he
almost like
spoke to earlier.
it's hard. It's like you got to try to find that balance, because if you say that,
They don't like you saying that the men are the leader and women are gonna submit.
but this is what the problem could be, because if we raise our men to feel like that they are the providers, sole providers, right? Will that prevent a man from understanding in his situation that it may be best at this particular time to for his woman
to make the choice.
Be in that position?
A reasonable man would. What you were worried about is what a lot of women are worried about. If we keep preaching this notion of man being a leader, men will be, what you're describing is a tyrant. If I never let my wife give her opinion and I never let her make a choice in the house, then I am a tyrant. And I'm not being a good leader, because a good leader would take counsel from the people who follow him. Because the people in the field, like.
But he also has to understand when
my wife is better
someone
than me at certain things, right? But at the end of the day, that, like, if I think the decision my wife is gonna make is taking my family in a bad road, I don't want to mess up what I'm trying to say. A family is like a car, right? A car can only be steered by one person at a time.
Right.
The other person can put their other hand on it, but if that other person is tugging at the steering wheel, we're not going to make good progress to get into our destination. Somebody has to humble themselves enough to take their hands off of the steering wheel. And you got to trust whoever has their hands on the steering wheel that they're guiding you to safety and they have your best interests at heart.
Right.
He's saying that should be the man. Now, sometimes the man, what if I'm incapacitated? If I'm not healthy enough to take care of that role, then hopefully what a man should do is through his actions and his words, teach a woman how to lead through his actions and through his words.
I guess we're assuming that all men are leaders, though, right?
All men leaders? Gotta be cultivated.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
They need a father, like he talked about how much his decisions as the leadership that decimated his house. That's what he's telling you. That's what he's telling you. Like, his one person destroyed a family. That symbolizes that he's the leader. If that's power. Decision, that's power.
That's power.
That's power. Like, father, I told my wife this. I've been married 9 years. I said, baby, we had a discussion in this barbershop about men being the leaders. Like, on Jabari had it on his live like 2 Fridays ago. And I always say that if you have two leaders, you have no leader, because what happens when the two leaders stop making progress?
Right.
Because somebody has to make the final say and be like, though I know you don't think this is a good one, somebody has to have more say to say, we're doing it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because why should progress stop because two people disagree? And so she said, baby, I said, baby, what do you think about that? She said, I don't disagree that the man is the leader of the household. She's like, I think you should be the leader of the household. She said, but what I don't like that you said is, she said, I also feel like the leader of our home too. And I don't really like that you said, I can't be the leader. So I said, baby, I'm not saying you can't be a leader, because you can have a captain and a lieutenant captain, and they're both leaders of the ship.
Right.
Everybody else has to do what they say.
Right.
But you just gotta understand that the man does outrank the women. We're both leaders. I outrank. And God sees it that way. Like he said,
I think it's a case by case scenario, though. I mean, it's like, to me, it's like case by case.
I'm the protector and the provider.
But
he expect me to provide for you and protect you as the woman. If you were the woman, you would expect that out of me.
I would want to, honestly, I would hope that the mate that I choose, that we both can, good leaders, that we're both able to protect each other. Yeah, I don't want to be something happens, and I got to stand up and fight whatever fool it is, and she's shaking hiding behind the couch, waiting to see, did you beat him yet? Did you beat him yet? I got the kids. Did you beat him yet? I need us both to be ready to be able to take care of that problem.
I want her to be the last time to finish the kids and things like that. Now you fight, and hopefully I taught you how to fight well enough. I should be the one that teach you how to shoot that gun in case you come to you with it. I should be the one to show you in case he get a hold of you how you do this move to get his ass up off to get him up off you. But I don't want my wife to go down. If I hear a creak in the night, I don't want my wife to get up and go down there because what if the intruder defeats us both downstairs? Now our kids are sitting ducks. I want my wife to be in the closet, or maybe put the kids in the closet. You stay in the bedroom, lock the door. If I don't come through that door, you put holes through whoever comes through that door that don't look like me. That's what I want. But it does my kids. I'm setting my kids up for failure. See, that's poor leadership. I just gotta say that. Like, if you were a man, you ran a household that way, that's poor leadership. How is that poor leadership? If you have kids with a woman and y'all both go to the danger, now you run the risk of leaving your kids as open meat to the intruder. What if y'all both die? Y'all go down there. What if y'all go down there together and he ambush y'all and pop both of y'all? Y'all come to the bottom of the steps and he waiting behind the door. Y'all don't see him. Bop bop. Now your kids is free meat.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know what I'm saying?
yeah, what I'm
That's
saying
why
is,
somebody got to take the lead.
yeah, definitely lead. I'm just saying as far as just the fear thing. You know what I mean? Like, again, I you know,
The tyrant being
a Lyft driver, I end up spending a lot of conversations with a lot of women.
Yes.
And you come to find out that, these women, most women that I come in contact with are paranoid, scared.
Yeah.
They scared to be out at night. They scared to be alone.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just that seems such a burden. I just couldn't see living in a world where you just in a position where you always in a sense of fear.
Men are the most dangerous thing in this world to women. That's why they need protectors. Women need protection from men,
That's the
don't
thing,
they?
though. Again, move back to your book, where it's like, well, there should be some.
Shouldn't we teach men to be better men?
Exactly.
We can't reach everyone. How can I teach 7 billion? I don't know how many men are on the planet. Let's say it's 3 billion.
Yeah.
I can't reach 3 billion and make sure my wife is always
There's
safe.
ways. There's ways.
This is what I'm saying.
If we got to this position, I mean,
Man,
that's
this is
ways.
what I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay, this is what I'm saying right here. That's what I'm saying. We have to go back and look at the socialization of the male and how we were socialized. I understand what you're saying, and I have no problems with being in a home where my wife is valued in the same way I'm valued as a human being. But here's the thing we get away from. As human beings, we have primary roles that we play within society. Nature, again, I said earlier, whether it's nature, whether it's God, whether it's the universe, whatever way you subscribe to it, something gave us primary function. And this is what I mean by this right here. The average man is stronger than the average female. Would you agree or disagree? There are some women out there can lift 400 pounds. I can't lift 400 pounds. But they're weightlifters, they train. But the average man is stronger than the average woman physically. The average man is taller than the average woman. This nature. It's not something I did. Nature made it this way right here. The average man way more than the average woman. Now, man's primary role is that I carry my reproductive organs is testicles, and I can ejaculate sperm. Woman reproductive organs is ovaries, and she can conceive a child. These primary roles. Nature, wherever you want to find it, nature made it just like this right here. The woman has an ovaries, man has the testicles. Man ejaculates into the woman, she carries a child for 9 months. We can't get away from that. These are primary functions within nature. God, where you want to find it, has made creation. Now, did nature stop right there? But nature said, well, look, the 9 months while you carrying that baby,
You need protection.
you got to be cared for. You got to eat. The baby gonna have to eat. So as a man being stronger, being the provider, so he goes out and gather whatever he needs to make sure the wife has a roof because she's pregnant. So we don't expect her to be out
She can't fend for herself.
on top of the roof, putting a roof on the house.
Yeah.
She carrying the baby. So now she got to carry the baby and get on top of the roof. This is why nature said, well, look, those 9 months while you carrying that baby, your role is to make sure you have a roof over your head, you have clothes for your body, very basic, fundamental essentials, and food to eat. Because you carrying the baby for 9 months. Her primary role is to carry the baby. So she got to be healthy, she has to be cared for, an environment has to be created where she can grow and mature and go through her pregnancy within an environment that caters to her needs as a mother and as a mother to be. Man provides that environment for her. Not that she can't help aid with that, but man provides the environment. So now when she's ready to have a child, she has everything she needs within that environment to make sure she can have a healthy baby. She can be born healthy. I mean, she would, she would go through the pregnancy, deliver the baby, and she's healthy, and everything she needs for that process to take place would be she will have access to that. This is I'm saying, this is man's primary response. This is his primary responsibility. Now, can a woman say, well, look, I want to go out and work? Sure, she can. But I'm saying what the problem is that I talked about is because as men, we have not done what we're supposed to do. So most women, a lot of women, have never really seen a man. They've never really seen a man. I'm not saying they haven't seen males. I'm not saying they haven't seen men who go to work. I'm saying we have not provided an environment that changes the conditioning of her mind. So what she's used to seeing is she's used to seeing male figures who call themselves men, but because of their character defects, because of their lack of awareness, because of their lack of understanding, because of their lack of knowledge, they have not created an environment where she is allowed to be a woman, she's allowed to be feminine, she's allowed to be able to realize, oh, this is something different, because the sun and the moon have different functions within creation. They're both equal in value. If you take the sun out of the sky, the world's going to collapse. You can leave the sun in the sky, you take the moon out of the sky, the world's going to collapse. One is no greater than the other, but they have different functions. That's not one better than the other. I'm saying man has a different function than what the woman has. She has a different function than what he had. One's not greater than the other, one's not less than the other. It is just different functions because they bring a balance to creation. This is why Allah says that I made one stronger than the other. Who is the strong one? The male is the stronger one. This is why he is the maintainer, he's the provider, and he's the protector of his family and of his community. Now, within decision making, of course, I don't say, I'm me, man. You listen to what I'm. No, we sit down and we talk, and when the decision is made, we come to a decision where I make the decision. It's based upon our coming together and talking because she know I'm making what's in the best interest of our family. Now, because it hasn't always been that, what we're getting to now, this is what you're referring to. This is what the sister's been dealing with.
The sister's been done so bad over time that they don't trust any man enough to lead them.
So this is toxic masculinity. What I'm talking about is not toxic masculinity. I'm talking about what God said I created you to be as a human being. What society has created is what I'm reading right here. Toxic masculinity. A male behavior characterized by negative personality traits such as unchecked aggression, verbal abuse, imposed dominance, and a lack of consideration for the opposite sex that can cause emotional and psychological harm over a prolonged period. That's toxic masculinity, what you're referring to. That's not what I'm talking about. When I talk about masculinity, I'm talking about an order that has been ordained by creation. It has been ordained by, well, again, what you call the God, what you call the universe, whatever way you want to call it. I'm saying something has made us different in a way that we have different roles. And my role is, I look at the creation, is that on the average, I'm stronger than the woman. On average, the woman right here. So now, what does the woman have? So she carries the child for 9 months. She gives birth to the child. She feeds the child from her breast. You got 3 kids, you got 2 kids. You are working. You come home. The baby running around. Not that you can't be a father, you be nurturing, but the baby gets on your nerve. Okay? Baby, look at this baby right here. Now, she can do the baby all day. So Allah said, well, look, because she is the mother, because the creator understands that what a role is, this is why the female, her strength is the greater patience. Because immediately we give up, man, come and get you. I can't deal with her. She's dealing with 5 kids, 4 kids, 3 kids. She cooking, she clean. Oh, she do all different things. So Allah creation gave her something, a superpower, if you will, because her role is caring for the children, which is not an easy job. It's not easy at all. Caring for another human being when a child only thinks about me. As a father, girl, look, you better come and get this book, the boy out of my face. Yeah, she come here, baby. So, but why we not that we can't be compassionate, not we can't be loving. That's not our superpower. Even though we can be patient, but I'm saying because she carries this child, he grows within her womb, she's already developing an attachment, connecting the way that we would never experience in the same way. So now while we out building the house, provide what we need. So now the child comes to me, the child, oh, okay, I like this right. Daddy got you because I've given what. That's what I'm saying. But because she hasn't seen what she's seen is toxic masculinity. She has not seen God ordained masculinity, and I'm saying that's going to look different when she sees that, and this is why most women, when they do see that, they don't have no problem saying submitting, if you will, aligning them, whatever word you want to use, agreeing. I'm saying whatever you want to call it, but at the end of the day, nature's already ordained it. When a man step up and be a man, she's gonna submit it to that. Because it's not submitting because he owns her, not because he dominates her. It's her nature to give way to that strength because he has a masculine nature. She's like, oh my God, no, I'm not talking about. I'm just simply saying is she's going to align herself with that masculine nature now because now she has a peace, she has a level of security, she has a level of protection, and she wants to walk with him proudly. But now, if you're not doing that, what you're referring to, and she has every right to be afraid.
What happens when a lot of the women are addicted to toxic masculinity? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, because I mean, culture-wise, that's what this now the new culture. The new culture is that's what it promotes. You know what I'm saying? They love. I mean, they, you know, whatever. I want to rock that. You know what I'm saying? Like I want. You know what I mean? I want a bag. I want to. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Toxic masculinity turned them out. They started to like the toxic masculinity, and it turned them out. It was a clip going around the internet. This woman was like, she don't want a good guy. She'd rather deal with the street dude because the street dude is more grateful for what she brings to the table. This was her words. And that's not really what it is. What it really is she has more control over the street dude because I can call his probation officer at any moment. I know the illegal things he's doing. She has control and authority over him by her having the legal job. I can nitpick at him, henpeck him like you should be doing this. You need to get your life together. She's in the power seat with somebody, with a man who don't have his life together. She could never pull that off on a man like that, like him, because he ain't going for that. So it speaks to what you're saying, that they like the toxic masculinity. The hood dude is toxic. The hood dude is the toxic dude. Normally cheat on you, stay out late.
Sometimes they like the dude that's tough because they want to be roughed up.
That's a sickness in their head.
I heard many women be like, you know what I mean, like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I heard women say she don't even think a man love her until he slap
beat
her.
me up
That's a
earlier today
sickness.
and be laughing about like, girl, he beat the shit out. You know what I mean? Girl, he smacked me, you know what I'm saying? And they like it because they get used to it and they don't like that person love them unless they putting their hands upside their head. So a lot of them get with them guys, they scared of them. Yeah. But again, it's an addiction that they get.
Adrenaline rush.
They want the hard,
but see,
you know what I'm saying? Hard, tough, you know what I'm saying? That's the toxic, you know.
That's why it's so important. That's what I'm saying.
Fathers could
so
alleviate
important.
a lot of that, a lot of you liking toxic masculinity.
We go back and understand the socialization process, because what has happened is, this is what has happened is, because women, unfortunately, have seen this behavior in what you're describing within men. Now, we're not talking about something happening overnight. We're talking about thousands of years, man.
Yeah.
We're talking about thousands. You know how long men been beating women, been raping women.
Too long.
So what happens is that with some women, we as creatures, we adapt to our environment for survival. Now, it becomes an unhealthy relationship. But when you begin to pull those layers back, this is what you're seeing. Women want a masculine man. She want a masculine man. And when you got a masculine man, a man that is he's a leader, he's strong, he's makes decisions, he's protecting that weight. So the toxic man in her mind represent, she can't make a fool out of him. She can't play him. Because the nice guy, the difference between a nice guy and a good guy. See, sister, I want that masculine, that toxic guy. That's she wants. In the right mind, no one wants to be beaten. But what she's saying is that I can't make a fool of him.
I can't easily manipulate him.
I can't manipulate him in the way I want to. He puts me in check.
Yeah.
And all women see that as a masculine trait.
Yep.
If a woman come up to you,
and she can punk you,
lick my feet, whatever. I'm being facetious,
yeah.
but say something, and yes, I do it, baby.
Like
that turns her off, not an attraction,
right.
Because that's not a masculine trait. Old boy, come on, say, bitch, get out of my face. Now she don't like that, but she knows
it seems masculine to her.
But I'm saying, but she knows she's asking him to do something that even in his toxic masculinity, he know as a man, I ain't going for that right there. Now he said it in a foul way. I say the same. Well, look, I have to. I'm not living like that. And she'll treat me the same way. He said it in a foul way. I said it in a more respectful way. We both saying the same thing. I'm not going to do it. But the brother says, you know what? Hey, man, I got you where I take care of that. She's in her mind, she's looking at me somewhere as being effeminate, even though she's not conscious of that, because she can't submit to that because it is a contradiction. The same way when a sister comes into the house, nigga, where my food at? That's masculine. That's a masculine energy. Who are you talking to like that? So no brother wants to be married to a masculine woman. The same way no sister wants to be married to a feminine brother. So when a sister come up in the house and she's demonstrating a masculine trait, it turns you off, man. Subconsciously, no, I ain't trying to deal with that right there. You don't a whole other vibration, baby. Because it does not compliment you as a masculine man. And the same thing with a sister. When a brother come home and he's being he ain't gay. He just got to be just being feminine. It turns her off, man. Yeah. This is why she go to rape. He got he on his stuff, man. I ain't trying to handle that right there. I can't stand a nigga, but I love him though. Because why? Because even in his toxicity, he represents at least a strength that she can appeal to. Because no one wants a guy she can kind of push over. So, but what you're saying, it is the unhealthy conditioning that she has experienced. That's why she's saying, "Ooh, I want somebody." Nobody in the right mind wants about the BB, man. See, that is an issue because she has not seen love in the way that she's supposed to be loved. So her love language is that if he don't beat me, some sisters don't beat me, he doesn't love me. He don't care about me. If he's not cussing me out, he's not pulling my hair. If he's not doing all the things that in her mind that represent love, because this is how she experienced love. But again, it goes back. I'm saying about being men. That's why I'm saying we have the power. Let's look at.
Nothing will change till we change.
We currently right now. Hezbollah, Hamas, Israel right there, slaughtering one another. I'm saying these males doing their thing right there. Women, sure, they ain't got no choice.
They ain't got no choice. They just go along for the ride.
They in.
Yeah.
I'm saying the men can stop, the men can start. Yeah. I'm saying we have the power, we can destroy. We have the power, we can build. What I'm saying is, if we have the power, that we can destroy, Gaza Strip, Israel, but we have that power. And the women and children, and then they can do about it. We also have the power that we can change things as well. Good luck. And then nothing they can do about it. But me is that because once a man stand up, if he stand up and he got a godly nature, and all men and Sam got a godly nature, she can't stop it. Yeah.
Darren, why it look like that bother you?
It seems foolish. The point seems when you say when you got like the one group of men is blowing up some stuff, and other group of men is blowing up some stuff, and the women is just along for the ride. That's just to me, it just seems to put a woman in a child's place where shouldn't that woman as a woman? I ain't talking about a child, a little girl, baby, an infant. Where is her what's the word I'm looking for? Where's her right to live, to be like, this is foolish.
It is foolish.
Fighting over is foolish.
But
where does that voice come from? Shouldn't she, should she have that voice to say that?
No, she hasn't. But Mac,
instead of just like sitting around waiting for them to decide when they're gonna stop, when it's gonna.
Mac, listen what I'm saying. I want you're writing what you're saying, and I think ideally she has a voice. She does have a voice. She never loses her voice. But what I'm saying, we're talking about power. We're talking about masculine power. She can't stop it with her voice. She can't stop it. She can't stop it because ultimately men, now we can. That's the key thing right there, right? She can sit there. A woman can be sitting right there, and she can talk, and you can listen to what she's saying. And the man, as a man, listen to what she's saying. But the one card that you have that she would never have is your physical strength. So when I get tired of listening to you, when I don't want to talk no more, even the woman, she's writing what she's saying. Ultimately, I know that one thing I got she don't have over me is my physical strength. I'm going to dominate her. And so even the women, whether they're the Palestinian women or whether they're the Israeli women, they don't like the war. They don't like their children being slaughtered. They don't like their parents being dead. They don't like it. But I'm saying physically they cannot stop it because man is the dominant physical strength within creation. She can't. And what I'm saying is just same way man can destroy and the woman can't stop it. If the man turn this around and get his act together, she's gonna humble herself because she won't be able to stop that. Yeah. So the reason why we are out of order is because when the sister, when she's doing what she's doing, because you have some men will accept that,
Yeah.
she's gonna continue to do it.
Yeah.
But if the sister walk in the room, and I'm not takes out the sister, but what I'm saying is, but a sister walk into the room and she's acting in a way that we think is now becoming a sister. If we don't support that, she's gonna stop doing it.
Absolutely.
But because she come up in the room, I'm just man, God, woo, yeah, right there. See, now this validating her, and she thinks that's how she's supposed to act.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, well, we're talking about something in the place of thousands. You know what I'm talking about? So the brain has been conditioned with women and men to act a certain way. What I'm talking about is going to take, I ain't going to live to see this take place. But what I'm saying, we have to begin to have a dialogue about what is truly man, what man represents in creation, what his role is, if we can turn the thing around. Because if we don't, we're going to continue to get what we are getting. And I'm saying, man, Allah said, I made you vicegerent on the planet of Earth. Not saying that she has a role, but I'm saying, but because of what I've given you, you are the one going to take control of this thing. She's your mate. Allah says that I created you male and female, and I put a love and mercy between you from among yourself, that you have love and mercy. I'm going to love her, but my mercy has not been demonstrated in the way that it should. Because my mercy is what's causing all my lack of mercy is what's causing me the problems today. So now she's adapting. So now, in all of us to die, she got to adapt to the will because what she needs, she's not getting. All creatures conform to the creature. Well, look, if I'm not getting what I'm getting, then I have to figure out a way for me to survive. So what she's doing is survive. In her mind, she lives in a man world. I got to survive within this man world. So now I'm doing things that I should not be doing. I'm doing things I don't want to do, but because he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, now
I can get away with it.
I'm forced to make choices that I know is not in my best interest, but this is the world that I live in. Going back to what she was saying, she had every right to be afraid because we have some men, because she has a vagina, will rape her, will abuse her, will sexually exploit her, because he doesn't understand because what he has done in his weakness, in his lack of morality, he doesn't understand what she represents in his life. This is why he abused her. This is why he raped her.
Or could it be the fact that he naturally thinks that he's better than her?
That's what I'm saying. It's all of that. That's what I'm saying. It's all of that. In his mindset, it goes back to what I'm saying at the very beginning. In terms of what it can be traced back.
And that could be the poison of religion.
Yeah,
What he's getting at is what he's getting at with saying it's a problem for the man to think he's better than her. He's saying that the man thinks that they're better than her because we're saying that the men are the leader. That would indicate.
I'm saying better by default. Just better than anything and everything. Just better by default.
You think that men think that we're better than everything? Or you think that men think that they're better than women?
Yeah, I mean, I would say better than everything outside of stuff that we feel like women should do.
Why do you think men think that they're better than women? Why? What makes you say that? How do men display that they think they're better than women to you?
Oh, because I think it's the society we grew up. I mean, I grew up on what's James Brown's The Man's World.
Okay.
From a kid, I knew I was told this.
Okay.
You know what I mean, so and it's everywhere. I mean, you have women. You know, we see them.
Is it not a man's
We
world?
see those gender reveals where the woman finds out she don't have no daughters.
Yeah.
Or the guy doesn't have any daughters.
Yeah.
Find out they have a daughter, and they ready to jump off a building. It's like they it's just like most women. You hear them say they rather have a son than a daughter.
Most women say they'd rather have a son because girls take more care. They take more care, more surveillance. You got to watch them harder. And that's
say that, but then look what our men grow up to do.
Now,
school.
You're right. Our men,
women, this, that, and
we
whatever.
do hold our women, especially in the Black community. I gotta speak to this. We do teach our daughters to be chaste for the most part. Like in two-parent household, I know a lot of fathers don't want their daughter to be passing around the goods. You know what I'm saying? But to be real with you, a lot of Black communities, we think it's okay for our sons to pass their pecker all around. And that's toxic, man. That's toxic leadership right there.
That's what I'm saying. See, Mac.
Go ahead, sir.
This is the point I want to make. I hear what you're saying. And I think the word that, words have power. Words have power. And what I'm saying is that man is not better than woman. That's not what I'm saying. Man is not better than woman. Woman's not better than man. Allah says that our creation, the only difference between male and female is their sex. It's only different. Meaning that we all have the ability, we all have a consciousness. We all have a conscience. We all have the ability to obtain eternal life for those who believe in eternal life. Meaning that we all have the ability to grow and to develop. Because the world we live in, there have been some men, because as I talked about, the socialization process, meaning that how they were taught, how they were raised as men, the literature they was exposed to, it taught them to believe that they are better than women. That's not what I'm alluding to. What I'm saying,
And women also believe the same thing. It seems
but,
like.
but what I'm
Well, not
saying
say
is,
all, not-
what
of
I'm
course, a
saying,
lot of them seem to
I'm
believe the
saying,
same
look
thing.
at nature. I'm look at the role. My role is not better than the woman's role. I'm gonna go back. I can't have a baby. I can become jealous of that. Well, she thinks she's something because she can have a baby. I respect that because that's her role. She shouldn't look at me because I'm the provider, maintaining, making sure that she ever say where she lives and say, well, nigga think he better than me. We have been conditioned to think that because the power that be wants to play the male and the female against one another. And only because we don't understand who we are as men, and she don't understand who she is as a woman. We're living in a world that's been conditioned to think in an ungodly way.
All right, let's move forward a little bit because we ain't gonna stay too much longer. Will and Jada. Jada put out the new book. This, you know what I mean? You know, how do you feel about? I mean, let's get the how do you feel? Well, let's start with you. How do you feel about the whole Will and Jada book? The secrets that she's supposedly putting out and all this stuff. What do you feel about?
Off the top, I mean, it's capitalism. You know, they millionaires. They trying to make more millions. So they're gonna put out a book to put some scandalous stuff out to get people to run and read it. That's probably what it all boils down to for them. They just trying to get some money. At the end of the day, they probably don't care now. One thing that anybody thinks about them in any kind of way, they laughing their way to the bank.
Okay,
He was right here in Baltimore just the other day, right? What
yesterday.
And it looks like they are right. It looks like they are writing a book. Yeah, it seems like they gonna write another book, and he basically just said to at the Enoch Pratt Library that no matter what she does, he is gonna be her friend and show up for her for the rest of his life. So it seems like he don't care about what she's doing, but they are really they are diminishing the institution of marriage. Basically, they making it look like something that can be bought and sold. Absolutely.
Well, I'm not familiar with the book that you're referring to. But
I think most men wouldn't like. Most women wouldn't want their. I can't speak for all, but I'll just assume. I think most men wouldn't want their wife telling the things that she's out here telling.
So I don't think he has
What I've seen is it happened like came on the news that where Jada was being interviewed and she was talking about how I guess they went back to when Will slapped Chris Brown. I'm not Chris Brown, sorry, Chris Rock. And you know,
that was Brown and Rihanna. I think that was
and
that was another Chris.
and she was saying how she felt about that and what kind of where Will was. And from out one thing that I've learned in my age, this right here, is that we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And I'm a couple of things. One is that what they have said themselves. Jada said that Will and I, we talked about getting a divorce. I guess, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. We never went through with it, but we talked about getting a divorce. I kind of drew from that, she's saying that we get a divorce and pretty much going to do our own thing. For me, based on what I know, because I don't know a lot about their life and what they're going through, but in terms of relationship, Jada had an entanglement with the individual. I think Will kind of been doing his own thing. What I believe, and this is Jada, Will, and anyone else for that matter, is that being together some 20-some years. I don't know, 23, 24 years, I don't really been together. And when they sit down before each other and say, well, look, I want you to be my husband, what is that going to look like? And I think many times is that not just them because, where they live, they level of income. But when for me, if your definition of marriage is not based upon, if it's not sacred, if you will, if it's not something that you believe has been ordained by God, see, it's hard to say, and I don't know anything about them, but my thing is that if you're not coming from the place I'm in right now, if you're not coming from a place that where your relationship, your marriage is based upon what I call godly principle, meaning that do you have a value system that's the same? Do you have put God come first in your life? Do you choose to work on in terms when you're dealing with conflict, how y'all choose to address those issues? If that's not in agreement, then you're gonna have people gonna think, well, I'm gonna do it my way, you do it your way. You know, that's the key thing right there. Allah says this right here. And I'm from the Quran. Allah says that an adulterous man should be with an adulterous woman, and a righteous man should be with a righteous woman.
Sound about right.
And so you can't mix the two.
The scriptures say a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man. So if you got a terrible woman on your hands, God could be rewarding you for all the wickedness that you've done. And you know, it's you were one or two things. So if Will has got this terrible woman on his hands, it could be an indicator, could be a spiritual indicator that he's done a lot of terrible things, and this is his payback.
And also, as we said earlier about, I've heard people say, I don't know, is that, what in terms of how Jada is responding to Will. If Will is not standing up in his masculinity,
That goes right. That's perfect. You said.
if Will is not standing up in his masculinity, meaning that what is his boundary?
Where does he put his foot down with her?
What is the standard?
When does he say check her? Women like that.
What type of wife? What is the definition of wife? If he says to his wife,
Okay, without it.
somebody else, it's okay to do the things you do. I'm saying you get what you get.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, but now she has a choice to make. Do she want to be relationship with a man who stands in his masculinity? Is that this is how we want to live in a godly way.
Mm-hmm.
And you may not agree with the as my wife, but that's the relationship choice. But this is the wife that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But Will say more about pleasing her
Yep.
and accommodating her than accommodating what God says. Then you get what you get.
Will has put Jada over God. Will has put Jada over God. And this touches on, I just wanted to say this, like he brought up morality. Nobody has morality without God.
Yeah.
I've told this to you before, Darren. I know you probably don't like it, but if we have, the first thing you got to do is you got to answer. I can prove that everybody got a faith with one question.
I mean,
How do humans get here?
according to your story, didn't God kill like a whole? Didn't he flood the whole world?
How does that make God unjust?
I mean, is it morally right for somebody who may not have done nothing to get killed and flooded? Or
How do you know? How do you
I'm
this?
saying
Hold on, slow down.
I need to do something.
What do you call doing nothing? Because doing nothing to God, it's not possible. You always do something to
I'm saying
God.
they was able to look.
What
at
if
the
you
end of
made
day,
the
they
choice
looked
to
at the mirror and realized they was okay with the reflection they seen? They was good.
Does that make you a good person? If you look in the mirror and you like the, no, it doesn't. If you murder 3 people, you could still, if you murder 3 people tonight, unprovoked, they did nothing wrong to you. You could go out and murder 3 people and still go home that night and look yourself in the mirror and be okay with yourself. So that don't make you a good person, or how you, the human, cannot
I'm
determine.
saying me though. So I'm saying
What
me.
I'm trying, but is that a good person? Let's just say you did that tonight. But let's say do murderers not look themselves in the face and still feel like a good person?
Yeah.
My point to you is saying that as humans cannot determine what is good and evil. It takes the creator of humans to tell them what good and evil is, because men will always justify their actions.
Yeah.
I can do the worst thing on this planet and still justify my actions.
Yeah.
Cain killed Abel and still justified his actions. Abel did nothing bad to him. You see what I'm saying? So you can't be moral without a God. Because how do you know what good and evil is? Somebody outside of humans has to, somebody that is greater than humans, whatever you want to call it. You want to call it now, I wouldn't call it a universe, because I think the universe is a creation of the creator.
Right.
So I would not worship or reverence the creature more than the creator. The creator is above all. So I need to, but
that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. You have this thing against God, and you talk about people who believe in God like they're the ones messing up the planet, but the people that don't believe in God are messing it up way worse. Because, like I just said to you, a murderer.
Right now, I mean, look at Israel, right? Isn't that all about religion right now?
Well,
Show me where Israel follows the Torah, where Jewish people follow the Torah. They have gay pride parades there.
Our Torah and all that stuff aside, right? I mean, they're seen to be Israelites or people of Israel.
You already know my stance.
And it seems like right now, whatever confrontation that they're having, this major confrontation they're having, is based solely off of religion.
I have a view is be very controversial, but I would say it's because they are not the children of God and they don't know God. Just because God, you can create everything and it not be your child. You know what I'm saying? Like God made giraffes, are they his children? He don't ever call them his children, but he made them. So you can be a creature of God and not be his children. They're not the children of God. They're wicked. That's gonna be something deep. I don't want to go deep.
Okay, so you don't think like a giraffe is a God's child?
It's a creation. It's creature. It's his creature. A creature is a creation of a creator.
But from the creator, everything is the creator is the great I am.
Yes.
Meaning that I'm everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Everything. And the creator tells us who his children are.
Of me is in everything. You know what I'm saying? Every living, you know what I mean? That breath. You know what I'm saying? No matter what it is, the fish, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, you know what I mean? Like whatever it may be, I'm the great I am with me. Everything is from me. You know
right. Everything is, but I'm saying, but it doesn't. I'm saying, child is a human being. You know, the giraffe is. I mean, it's like it's an animal. I mean,
but it's still got. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm saying, it's still love.
It still got an amazing organ.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying, but
you know what I'm saying, the way
you can make something right now. You can make something right now. Be the creator of it. It ain't your child.
But I'm saying, what I'm saying,
right. It would never hold the same weight as your actual child.
It might be more than your child. Might care about more than your
child.
child.
Nothing he's gonna ever create is gonna outweigh his children, his biological children.
Some of these kids. You know how it's made up, how it's put together, how it's breathing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. How the organs work. You know what I'm saying? It's marvelous, spectacular.
No, it is.
You know what I'm saying? How the universe runs.
People consider a business a person, so it's like that's their child.
But you never treat that business on the same level with your child.
You might treat it better than your child.
Yeah,
so some people do.
You know, it's a euphemism, but it's still their actual children that scale higher than whatever.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Everything in creation belongs to the creator. Okay. You know, create, like you say. The only thing that separates us from, I'm gonna use the dog, or the giraffe, or the lion, or the only thing separates us is consciousness. Okay. The animals.
They got a form of consciousness, right?
No, hear me out.
Maybe not on a level. I got pets. I got a lot of animals, and the way they respond to each other, not verbally in someone, but
that's instinct. It's instinct. What I'm saying is that the dog.
When a lion eats a cub, that's not good conscience.
The dog. Hear me out.
Lions eat cubs.
Some of
lion cubs.
Oh, their own.
Like if a new pride, he taking over a pride, he'll kill all the lion cubs from the other men. We don't do that.
Yeah,
that's if he take it over. He taking over another pride.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
The dog does everything we do except for one thing. The dog sleep, the dog eat, the dog reproduce, the dog eliminate waste, and the dog moves. We all do the same thing. The thing the dog doesn't do, the dog doesn't chew. The dog has instincts, meaning that instinctively, the dog within its nature has an instinctive nature that protects him from doing certain things. Now, choice is like, we can say,
another thing they don't have religion either, right?
No. I mean, they have a culture and community, but I'm saying
don't. As far as it is, because people keep correcting me on this. I usually when I say religion, AJ, when I think of religion, I think of deity, God, because I think that's what most people think. I don't think of like, you know, being a Harley Davidson fan or weed smoke, that type of religion. I'm talking about like.
But I'm saying
being governed by a God.
Let's go back to what you're saying, the conscious part of it. As a consciousness, we can choose. Okay, we can choose. We have a choice. Okay, we want to eat this food, or that food. We cook. You know, we can go. We do those different things right there. Animals don't have freedom of choice, the free will. They have instincts. So we're the only creatures, man, the human being, the male and the female, are the only creatures that God created that has free will. Every other creation submits to the will of God. The animals, the trees, we don't can rebel. A dog the dog is only going to be a dog. A human being can act outside of itself, but a dog can act outside of being a dog.
Animals don't ever go against their nature. We do.
They only respond because that's instinct. That's not choice. But
I don't know. I've been to the zoo before. I just seen some animals in the zoo do some things that don't seem like it's quite part of their nature.
But that can be trained. But what I'm saying,
What people go to when I say they don't go against their nature.
I'm talking about
What do they do against their nature? Really?
I guess being tamed by a man.
No, I'm saying we can be trained. But see, again, it's
about a motorcycle or something.
Right. But see, what is that? My point is that
Life is conscious. I think this thing we call conscious. I think that's just life. And all animal beings, we all have life.
No. Let me rephrase that. The ability to choose. And I'm gonna give you an example. Okay. I'm gonna take some dog food. I'm gonna get some poison. And I'm gonna put the poison in the dog food. In front of the dog. I'm gonna take a human being, yourself. Whatever you like, spaghetti.
Great example.
And I'm gonna put some poison in it. And I'm gonna eat that. Yeah, because you see me put the poison in it.
The dog's gonna eat it.
Then again, I don't know. Human beings sit right there and watch people. We watch people make our food.
Jabari, come on,
I'm
Jabari.
talking about bad food. We go to make
9 times out of 10.
stuff that we know that's bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Different things. You know what I mean? Like gym shoes that we get from Subway. You know what I mean? People go. I'm saying maybe it kill you slow. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. We'll get away with what you're saying. But I'm saying, speaking what you're talking about, I'm talking about conscious.
Russian roulette. People do that
Dogs
kind of
follow
shit.
their instincts.
You have a freedom of choose. You have insight the other way. I'm saying, you see me put a poison in your food.
Right.
Most healthy people not gonna eat that.
Not
Well, the animal can't make that distinction.
Their instincts are too strong.
They see the food. Now they might smell something. They don't smell. So I spring where it smells good. I'm saying, most they don't see on the can. It's just the poison.
Right.
It's gonna kill you. Anything. They see. They're gonna eat it. If they can make a choice, distinction like that, they put poison.
So that ain't I had that happen with
So animals, they don't have to go like these. They follow their instinct. That's all.
A puppy of mine ate some poison and died, and it made me real sad. But they still ate the poison. They went through somebody's trash can, was eating everything that they could find in there, and her dumb behind ate some poison. But a person would have most likely seen that or seen evidence of it and not eaten it. Animals are ruled by instincts. We not so much. We are sometimes, but that's when our instincts get the best of us. But we have the conscience to avoid.
Sometimes mice, you know what I'm saying, like he talking to Earl when he come do the service, you know what I'm saying, are so smart. They'll even with the traps, they'll jump right over the traps. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll jump over the traps. They'll get around them for a long time. Sometimes they'll run right to the traps. You know, sometimes they'll smell. Sometimes they don't. But then we talk about as human beings, we talk about the trap. For brothers rap about the trap all the time. Brothers and sisters,
they know about the trap and they still do it.
It'd be like they just like mice. They'll go walk right to the trap. Yeah, I'm going to the trap. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, Jabari. We would call that unconscious, though. We would call that unconscious.
They consciously saying, "Yo, I'm going to the trap." You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm going to. Which they know that they know.
So again, so it's still kind of unconscious, and they acting on instincts. The instinct is I'm in poverty and I need to eat, so I'll do anything to fit. It's not really the instinct is. I'm just saying the people who know it's a trap and still do it, they moving off instinct and not conscious. Because if you was moving off conscious, you see the trap.
But also they moving off a low vibration.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but this is just right here. It's like
lots of people end up in prison.
Well, I'm saying I was in the game, so I'm saying is that so being in the game, doing what I was doing, in the robbery game, I knew that I was doing wrong. What I'm saying is that, but because of my vibration, because of my spiritual vibration, I gave way to it. I'm saying as a human being, we have a higher self and we have a lower self, meaning that we have a higher knowledge who give way to it, a God consciousness. But then we have what I call a lower vibration, meaning they're giving way to the world, or we would say even to what's the word I'm looking for? To a rebellious nature. So even though I'm going in the trap, I know it's harmful, but because of my desire, because of my needs I'm trying to meet, this is in my mind, and where in their place and time, this is my way of
means.
thinking. This is what I need to do in order to survive or to take care of myself. So I'm doing illegal things. I'm going to the trap. Know it's harmful. Know the trap got everything in it that can be harmful to me. You got guns, you got drugs, you got police, you got everything would be in the trap. I know it's harmful, but because of my need to satisfy my need and desire of what I want, I'm going to satisfy. Because here's the thing: most people, I'm gonna say many of us, is that we don't think it can happen to us. I mean, that's why people pack a cigarette. Warning: surgeons have determined cigarette can cause cancer, could kill you. It's right there on the label. But we would still take a cigarette and we would smoke it. But here's the thing: it's called cognitive dissonance. Somewhere between taking that cigarette out of that pack, lighting it, and putting it to my, I have to make smoking that cigarette is all right. Man, it make me feel, man. But here's the thing:
stress, help me with while I'm
but
drinking.
the thing of it is that I know it's harmful, but I justify it. So going into the trap, as you're alluding to, I know it's harmful there, but I've justified it in my mind because I'm trying to serve on my lower vibration. The higher self said, no, I'm not doing it. No, I'm gonna find another way. So we go into the trap. We do all these things that we do only because we're operating on a lower vibration, if you will. And again, going back to ungodly, as we're alluding to is that there has to be something, whether we call it God, crazy, where we want to find it, that allows you to say, well, look, that gives you instruction. The Bible says, lean not to thy own wisdom.
Right.
Because we have a limited will of intelligence. We can't see everything that we smart.
We ain't even lived it long enough to know how everything goes. So men need instructions. The Torah means the instructions. I told you this the other day. Everybody says there's no instruction manual to life. There is.
Yeah, there is.
It's called the instructions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But how can men, you haven't even experienced every scenario. This is the wisdom of God. God knows how every human is he knows all our behaviors. He knows how every spirit he put in a body, he knows what that spirit is going to do with that body already. Yeah. So he knows, all right, this person has a lying spirit. I need some rules that tells this person that I'm about to birth, you can't do this, or I'm going to punish you for it. Right. It would be unjust. God would be an unjust God if he punished us for things he never told us. Like if he never told us, thou shalt not commit adultery. Like say we didn't have the Torah to tell us not to do that, and we committed adultery, and God kill you. Like, well, it's not right for you to sleep with another woman and commit adultery on your wife. Wait, you never taught me about adultery. Then he would be unjust for killing me because he never told me it was wrong. The only way you can hold people accountable is you got to tell them it's wrong, let them break it, and then punish them. Same way, like with God, people ask all the time, why didn't God just make them obey him in the garden with the tree? Why did he give them the chance to even disobey him? Because you can't show love that way. God wanted to create something that could love him. And the only way to display love is you got to make a choice. I struggle with that.
When I hear that sounds kind of weird to me that God needed to make somebody to love him. I mean, that sounds like a woman that says, I never been, nobody ever loved me. But hold on, slow down. I never this, that, and whatever. But I'm gonna have this child because I know if I have this child, they're gonna love me. But then it ain't guaranteed that your child's gonna love you. Right. Next, they talking back at you. This, that.
So you're a man.
You have hate for them because there's one thing that you thought was gonna love you above all. It's not, and you feel like they should because you providing for them, you this, that, or whatever. But then they don't, and now you want to have this wrath to him.
He's got a plan for all of that. I mean, you know what's going to get you back on the right track?
Don't take me. I'm good. I'm right.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, okay, yeah, you all right, but yeah, okay. Who are you grading your goodness upon? What is the scale that you're grading? Who do Darren say he good? What are you using to measure your goodness?
The things I'm using judge myself as far as where I'm at and where I want to be. It's as simple as that. And am I doing the things that's going to?
Are you a good judger of yourself, or would other people be a better judger of how you?
I don't think nobody's going to be able to judge me better than me.
But we just talked about how people can commit murder and still see themselves as good people. So how are you?
There's people that justify people that murder people and think it's good.
So how are you judging yourself and saying you're all right? You could be missing things that other people see as a big red flag in your life.
It's not that I don't have my flaws. I know I have my flaws. I don't spend the time that I need to with my children. So I know I have my flaws.
Do you think it's arrogant to say you don't need a God to tell you how to be right? Or how to be?
No, I don't think that's arrogant. No. Because the way that whatever structure that this God may have or want, it may not necessarily be what I want. If there's things that he say that we should do and shouldn't do, that I agree with, okay, I rock with that.
Who are you to tell the creator that you don't want to do what he wants to do? If he created you,
because I'm doing the very thing that was supposed to be issued to me, free will.
How you gonna tell the creator what you don't want to
live my
do?
life the way I want to live it. If
Okay.
it's if it rolls, if it's lined up with him, fine.
Well,
If
Mac,
it's not,
but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
whatever.
Here's the beauty. Allah says there's no compulsion, meaning that Allah not going to force you to serve Him. That's why He gave you free will. You can choose. But here's the thing.
He may not, but he have his people out there and trying to convince everybody. Evangelism and everything.
I get what you're saying. Right. There are people
upset with you if you don't live the life they living, but they should know that it's supposed to be free will anyway.
Man, this is what I'm saying. I understand what you're saying. That there are those who serve God who would try to force you to live their way. I get that. You have to be right in what you're saying. You have free will. My point is this right here, is that regardless of what I believe, what any of us believe, there are consequences for our actions. Whatever they may be, good or bad, we make choices, then there are consequences that are going to be, that has already been ordained is going to take place. So I'm not saying you can choose to serve or not. I mean, that's your choice. And no one should try to force their way of life on you. What we're simply saying is that as human beings, is that, how old are you mind me asking?
44.
Okay. So you're 40. I've been 44 years old.
You got children in their 40s.
My daughter 40 years old. But you've never been 66.
Right.
I'm 66 years old. So that's things that I can teach. That's you can teach me. That's things that I can teach you at 60 years old, that you have experience before. But
and if I can interject on that, also, I mean, I do. My father, he's 61, and I don't tell everything to my father. I tell a lot of things to my father. And but another thing when it comes to as far as like judging, like how I feel like I'm doing my life, when I see that my father's proud of me, what I mean, and the decisions that I'm making, the things that I'm doing, and I listen to him, take his advice when he may see like I need to go this way a little bit or that way a little bit. I'm not arrogant to think that I don't have to listen to nobody.
That's my point.
And I definitely have elders there, but it's like I don't see how it could be surprising that a person wouldn't be willing to, follow a God that
will kill everybody.
Not to say kill everybody, but just it cannot show himself in the flesh like we are right now. And the only way that you're supposed to believe in him is through the book.
Hold on. This is good, but this is a whole nother conversation. When
I'm here, it's always gonna be something.
Check it out. And actually, we want to try to in the next few minutes try to wind down. You know what I mean? Like I said, because it's a lot of topics. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna try to do this. You know what I mean? At least once a week for starting off, and then you know what I mean. But there's so much stuff to talk about. So many different things. You know what I'm saying? I would say ending off putting your dog to sleep. You know what I'm saying? And different things of what you're talking about. It's like it's all about culture too. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't so-called believe in a God force or whatever, there's organizations, but most organizations believe in God in some kind of way, form, or fashion that govern. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So the only way you really gonna put the dog to sleep or even put the cat to sleep, you know what I'm saying, for women, you know what I'm saying, is to be governed by some kind of organization, some kind of it may not be could be a spiritual organization, could be this, could be that, because you gotta have some rules and regulations that's involved, you know what I'm saying? Because if it is, because some people rationalize it because they just judge it by I do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it. And if you ain't got nobody to really answer to, then you know what I'm saying, then you ain't gonna put that dog or that cat to sleep. Yeah, it's like, hey, look, I did it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, and that's what I do because it's how I do. But
without a God, who can hold humans accountable for their actions? Only other humans. And we know that humans make bad judgments all the time. So,
but at least you can pinpoint to that judge or whoever that held you accountable for that. You can pinpoint it to that person, and you could go based on that rationale if they was right or wrong and whatever punishment that they gave you. With a God, you can't necessarily do that because that's one of the problems with the text is that they aren't able to be amended. We say they living, but you really can't do nothing outside of that. And if you do something outside of that, that means it usually branches off into another religion. You know what I mean? And that's normally how that goes.
Let's let Dr. Ray get the last word.
I'm gonna say this right here. I definitely thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. We talked about a lot of different topics, but I want to bring you back to to the book and why this is necessary. What we're talking about in terms of the religion aspect of the beliefs and everything, we're talking about thousands and thousands of years that has been upon the face of the earth that man has always wrestled with. And I get that. And clearly this is a topic, as Jabari indicated, that will be tabled for another discussion. But where we are right now as men, and my point is that what you're describing, what men are describing is the result of men and kind of what man has done. I go back. Women did, for the most part, is not the author of the confusion which we're seeing today. The men is the author of that. Everything going on back to the Bible, the books that we read, because of man, because of his lack of understanding of who he was, what his role is within creation, and what his responsibility is. I'm saying, as men, until we get that right, until we get it right, I'm saying that we can turn the environment around. You know, we can change in terms of relationships with our children, with our wives, with ourselves, with the community, with the environment, if we begin to think and understand the power that we have as men. We don't understand that fully because all we got to do is look outside and we see the destruction. It shows me there's a lack of understanding somewhere. We have an enormous power that the Creator has given us as men. Not saying they'll take away from women, they have power as well. But I'm just saying there's our power and roles is different with woman power role is. Hers is equally as powerful. If you remove the woman, we cease to exist. Remove the man. So no one's better than the other. I'm just simply stating is that our role and responsibility. And because we have the dominant physical strength, much of what we're seeing today within creation, destruction, chaos, is because lays at the foot of men. Women have adapted to our behavior, and I'm gonna close with this right here. The sister on the Breakfast Club, Angela Yee, is that her name? On the Breakfast Club. You used to be on there. There was a podcast. I remember seeing the part we used to have as a podcast where she invited other sisters on.
Yeah, okay, yeah, still doing.
Invite other sisters on.
Lip service or something like that.
Okay. Beautiful sister, had nothing negative about. But here's the thing. What I'm seeing, heard from other women, is that they're taking on characteristics that they may think that they truly would probably believe there's appealing and what they should be doing. You know, they're talking about how they engage. I'm talking in very provocative kind of way, in very explicit kind of way. How they like to have sex, the position how they have sex in. Typically, that's a masculine role. Women are more secretive about, modest about that. That's more of a feminine role. Not that a woman can't be, because she clearly she can. I want it this way and that way. But typically, there's a masculine characteristic that you don't see in women. And I'm saying, but what women have done is they have adapted to an environment that has condoned this behavior. I'm saying as men, whether you like it or not, I'm saying once we begin to understand what our role is within creation, within society, and what we represent, we can change. Now, it ain't gonna happen in our lifetime, but it comes from an understanding. We have a misunderstanding. This is why we're confused having conversation about God, not God, because there's a misunderstanding because what was given to us. This is this confusion right here. I'm saying not to forget about God. I'm simply saying is that just go within yourself. Look within your very own nature to answer the question, because to understand self is to understand all of humanity. Once you understand self truly, as Brother King was alluding to, is that there has to be something greater that I believe that where we want to define it, that give us instructions that we have to rely on. Because I don't know everything. Yeah, because I don't know everything.
Right.
So if you could talk to a man that was 900 years old, would you talk to him?
Yeah.
Think of the Bible, man that says this is how you should live your life. Because the wisdom that's being passed down is generations that come long before us saying, I made these choices, and this is what's happened to me. And this is the result. And it comes down generation, now it's down to us. Because there's nothing new up under the sun. So if I made that decision today and things are going to be different because the nature hasn't changed, it's still the same. So if I go into a man's home and sleep with his wife, and they chopped my head off 1900 years ago. In 2023, we got brothers in the we got brothers in the graveyard in 2023 because they went into a man's home and slept with his wife. So I'm saying, so if that instruction is true, which that man said that 900 years ago when I read in the Bible, thou shalt not go to another man's home, commit adultery. He's warned us, whoever, God, somebody warned us that lived 900 years ago, 600 years ago, and said, well, look, man, don't live like this right here. Because this is what happened to me in my generation.
The only problem with that, I know you said you want the last word.
Thank everybody for coming.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, this is just getting our feet wet with this, and we'll be back next week. So we'll be back next week, and like I said, some of y'all are welcome to come. We're gonna start, getting the topic more narrowed down. What I'm saying, at different times. But so this is straightforward from here. But I thank y'all for coming. I think we did have some great conversation that we did have today. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I mean. And we're gonna keep it moving, and and just say peace to the people. Thanks for joining. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see y'all next week. But we'll let y'all know exactly when. Peace.
I enjoyed it, man. Yeah, it was good, man. We.
Not you're absolutely right. The change got to start with men, man.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's
I always say men are 60% responsible and women 40%. But you can't blame guys. A lot of guys be out here trying to blame women for the downfall, but you can't blame the one who had less power.
Yeah. More power. Yeah, it don't make no sense, man.
Men have had more power, so if it's messed up in the world, obviously